Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and man, we're going to get into some good stuff. Paranormal, the first couple of hours with our main man, Merl, and Laura Elizabeth, who has really nice hair. And then little Timmy James. Man, we got a jam-packed, hey, Tim, how you doing? We got a jam-packed show. Lots of UFO news today, if you haven't heard. Wow, it was absolutely amazing. We'll get to all of that. Dirty Filth is here with a great cartoon, and the best part about tonight, we have each and every one of you, including Tim Mothman and his goatee sharing the gold medal, race fan with a silver, in the studio with a bronze medal tonight. Hi, Robert Lamoth, attorney at large, Michael Morris. How you doing? And race fans merling hard right off the bat. Paul Shreves, how you doing? Timmy James, how you doing, buddy? Good, merling it up too. Rugged Source, how you doing? Rugged Source will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Ethanol, Frankie B, Karen in the Woo Train, Scott B, MJ, Carol Amerio. Good to have you all here. Hello there, Gory Tiger. Mama Catherine. Mwah. How you doing, my sweetheart? I hope you're having a great night. And, yeah, I know you're going to love this show. I know you will, because you love your Merle. Yes, you do. Kim Stanley, how are you? And Road Flare, good to see you. Little Cam on YouTube. It's playoff time. I got the Chiefs this weekend. I went with the Chiefs, the Lions, the Rams, and the Ravens. I'm calling for 2 upsets this weekend. Yeah, Flat 6 is merling it up hard. That's right. You got to merle hard like Flat 6, people. This is a special, unique show each and every month. Number 46 in your program, starting on defense tonight from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Janssen. Laura Lobbs, how are you? Good to see you. And Walter Kochabinski. Captain K-Rod. Kurt M., nice to see you all. Hi there, Operation Shutdown, Hillbilly Herb. And, you know, it's sad when Merle has to merle himself in the chat room. Don't know how I feel about that. Thomas Rock, good to see you. Necessary Dialogue, Hippie Deidre, good to have you all here. Kimberly Burgess, nice to see you. Mel WD40 is here, looping us up for tonight's show, because Merle always wants to go into a show nice and smooth, so he needs that lube in order to get it done. Why? Well, Merle doesn't like rigidness. He doesn't like it when it's dry and feeling uncomfortable in conversation. So we use a lot of lube for Merle each time he's on the air. Yes, we do. That sounded awesome. It did. I'm not going to lie. All right. Jeremy Jones, Eternity Eternal. Joel over on X, please give me a hair update if you don't mind. Joel has literally the nicest, tightest hair goatee combination I've ever seen. It's true. Yeah. All right. Jay True Seeker, good to see you. Hi, Cosmic Joe. Vanessa is here. Vanessa will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Hi, Bombshell Bomber. How are you? Mac Geek, Stargazer. Good to see you both. Kathy Evans, thanks for coming on in. Hi, Tracy Winters. Good to see you. Magneticus, thanks for joining us. And who else do we have here? Scrolling down, there's Super Crazy. And Mel's merling it up. Destiny Rocks, nice to see you. And who else do we have? Scrolling down. Dave Tiger Williams. He'll drop the gloves for you. Dean P., good evening. Algaray over on Twitch. Yep. To prepare for Merle, he did 800 sit-ups in 12 and a half minutes. His stomach's jacked. All right, we're caught up there. Hold on. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we are having our main man Merle here and Laura Elizabeth talking paranormal for the next couple of hours. Great show coming up. We are in our roll call on YouTube as we say hello to Bobbert and Paramarv. Nice to see you both here. And yeah, we're pretty much caught up. We're caught up. So now we got to sit here and just be bored for a little bit. But we're not going to have a boring show. I do know that because Merle is here. Don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. And the super chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do. Hi, Marty Burback. Hi, the lovely Juliana McGill. Good to see you both. And it's that time. Throw those horns up. Let's rock. Mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world. This, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out, bubble, read the news wire, check out our slang as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a big paranormal show coming at you as Merle is here for the Ghost of the Great White North. Then in hour number 3, we're going to try and get to Swamp Dweller tonight. But massive news in the UFO world. A new whistleblower comes out, and Canada releases their preliminary scientific report on UFOs north of the border. Yes, it's that time of the month. And we say hello to our good friend Merle from the Paranormal Road Trippers, based out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Each and every month, Merle joins us to talk about some paranormal supernatural stories that he has uncovered or fellow guests have uncovered. He's a nice guy when he wants to be. Sometimes you never can trust a Canucks fan. I'm just going to say that. You just can't trust a Canucks fan. Their emotions are up and down like a roller coaster. But Merle tries to hold it together being a Canucks fan, and he takes that energy into his paranormal investigations to literally, take on any type of haunting he can. And we're going to say hello to the man from the Paranormal Road Trippers, main man Merle. How you doing there, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm doing great, Dave. Bonjour. How are you?
I am good, my friend. That's high quality French right there.
Bonjour, bonsoir. See?
No, absolutely. It's going to be a good show. I'm actually looking forward to this tonight. I'm going to get you to move a little bit closer to your microphone. You're a little.
This is my backup mic, Dave. The new one is in the mail.
I get that. But you brought a friend with you. She's sometimes in our audience when she wants to be. Laura Elizabeth is here. How you doing, Laura?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I hear a rumor that you are going to be joining the Merle and Dave party in Las Vegas in May.
Yep, that's a high possibility.
A high possibility? It's not a guarantee?
No, yeah, it probably is.
Well, that's good. That is very good because we're looking forward to meeting you there and hanging on out with you. But you're also a paranormal investigator and like the supernatural and the woo stuff. And Merle, tell us a little bit about Laura. You know what makes her paranormal stuff really good.
She has a great podcast called Midnight in the Mountains, and that's kind of how we met. She reached out and had me on her show, and we've kind of been talking ever since about all things paranormal and so forth. She's interviewed a lot of great people and with a lot of great content, and she likes that Pennsylvania weird stuff, just like you do, Dave.
Oh, that's good stuff in Pennsylvania. Why is Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia so screwed up, Laura?
I have a few thoughts. I don't know if they're correct, but for one, the Appalachian Mountains run through most of that. So that definitely has something to do with it because those are supposed to be some of the oldest mountain ranges around. And my other theory is that, like, I go hiking a lot and I'm always outside, and there's quartz crystals everywhere here. And I feel like that really has something to do with it because they say that, like quartz can retain memories and record things like stone tape theory kind of thing. So I think it has a lot to do with that too.
You look at everything in that triangle of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. And I've been to all three. And by the way, there is Tim Hortons in Southern Ohio.
There is.
There is. When you cross from Pittsburgh into Ohio, I forget the town's name. I know there's a bridge there because there's a bridge everywhere. Okay. But when you pull into town, there's a big Tim Hortons there. It's really a beautiful thing, to be honest.
Did you critique it? Did you try it? Did they have the ice cap?
You know what? I was on day 7 without an ice cap at that point, and I pulled in there, and I had a friend from Tampa Bay. He kept on hearing me talk about ice caps. I said, buddy, I am going to literally have you drink heaven in your mouth. And he goes, so I ordered him an ice cap, and I said, Roger, what do you think, man? And Roger talks like Eeyore. Winnie the Pooh. And he goes, damn, that is literally the greatest thing I have ever drank in my life. So him and his wife in 2011 come up here to visit us. He was drinking 3 to 4 ice caps a day over 11 days that he was here. Couldn't get enough. So, yeah.
Are they similar to a Starbucks frap that they're like loaded with sugar?
No, it would be the equivalent of, yeah, kind of, except thinner. It'd be more like a Slurpee. Slurpee.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh,
that's weird.
Just trust me on it. You got to trust me. Yeah.
Are you rocking one now, Dave?
No, I did at the hockey rink, though, when I was there with my son for hockey practice.
Good.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, I need to get jazzed up. Let's go for it. Talk some paranormal with me.
Let's do it, Dave. That's what we're here for, right? So this is all you, Laura.
Oh, no pressure.
What got your interest into the paranormal and doing a podcast?
So I think it goes back to when I was a kid. I cannot remember a time that I did not like mysteries or I was always reading mystery books as a kid, Nancy Drew, Goosebumps, Fear Street. My mom was always watching Unsolved Mysteries, and I'd always sit down with her and watch that, and it scared the crap out of me as a kid, and it was fantastic. I've always loved if somebody had a ghost story or something weird, and yeah, I just love the mystery of everything. Starting the podcast, when podcasts came out, I was probably later in the game to start listening to them, but then I realized that, paranormal podcasts were a thing, and I just became literally obsessed with them. I listened to them almost all day, every day, and I've loved podcasts so much that I was like, I want to do this. So I I had some friends that really kind of talked me into it, 'cause I was doubting myself, like, I don't know if I could do this, but I had some good friends that helped me, along the way. And, yeah, and actually Nomar Slevik, which is like, I know he's been a guest on your show a few times, Dave, and he knows his stuff when it comes to audio, so he's helped me out a lot. So, yeah, that's just pretty much how I got started, and then doing that, I started going places because 'cause I'm like, I don't wanna be a podcast that just, finds articles online and reads things. I wanna actually go out and experience these places and do these things. So I go out hiking, I look for abandoned ruins, abandoned houses. I like to, and then I met up with people that actually go investigate. So I kinda joined them, and we've gone to several places and done the whole investigating thing. So that's how that got started.
You're an Art Bell fan. Midnight in the
Yes.
Mountains is a kind of a variation of Midnight in the Desert.
Well, yeah, but that actually wasn't planned. Um, it was actually Steve Stockton who was kind of the ones who was like, really like, you should do a podcast. You could do it, because I started by doing live streams on his channel with him and on YouTube. And I was talking to him one day, and I said, "Okay, help me figure out a name." And then he said, "Midnight in the area that I live in." And I said, "No, I don't want to say where I live. I don't want everybody knowing where I live." So he said, "Okay, what about Midnight in the Mountains?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I like that." And then I later realized that it was very similar to Midnight in the Desert, and I kind of freaked out a little bit, because I was like, I hope people don't think I'm trying to compare my show to Art Bell, because there's no comparison to that. So, yeah, it was kind of an accident.
It happens.
It does.
That's okay. What do you recall about your first paranormal experience?
Oh, so I actually had forgotten it for years and years and years, and it wasn't until I had started listening to paranormal podcasts, and there was this one encounter that I was listening to, and I just all of a sudden had this flashback to when I was like 5 years old, um, at my parents' house, and I remember standing in the yard, and I was like looking towards the clothesline, and there's woods there, and I remember seeing, this is gonna sound absolutely crazy, but I know I saw something. I saw this like figure, and it looked like this like green witch kind of figure with like purple clothing on, and it absolutely terrified me. And it wasn't there for very long. I remember looking at it, and then I just remember it being gone. I don't remember anything else other than that, but I remember the fear that I had when I saw it.
Dang.
What'd you see?
What'd you see?
I don't know what it was. It was just this like green creepy figure, like with like green skin. It looked kind of like a witch or something, and it had like a purple cloak on. And that's all I can remember from that. But I know something.
That'd
I
be
don't have
terrifying.
I don't have an explanation for it.
Yeah, I don't think you've told me that one. And have you seen it since, or repeated?
No.
Just the
Mm-mm.
one.
Nope. Just that was it.
And looking back on it from all of the time you have in with talking to people and experiencing paranormal, what do you think it could have been? I'm actually interested to know what Dave thinks, since you gave a description.
Um the only I don't know, I've heard so many stories where entities will present themselves as something else. Like I've heard of people seeing like Scooby-Doo characters, um, just random things like that. And I mean, I don't know why, if it was something else that chose to present itself, I don't know why it chose that, because it terrified me. So I'm kind of really baffled to what it could have been.
Dave, what do you think?
Was it physical? Like, or did it seem like goo? Did it seem like it had a physical shape? Was it blob-like? Not the cat blob, but just like a blob?
What is the cat blob?
Dirty Phil's cat
Dirty
mascot.
Cat, our artist. Cat's name is Blob.
Oh, okay. I mean, it had a shape. I remember it being maybe 4 foot, 5 foot tall. Some kind of shape, but I can't remember much more than that, really, honestly.
Did it vanish in front of you?
I don't remember. I don't remember if it did, or if I looked away and looked back and it was gone.
I hate when that happens.
I don't know. I was like 5 when it happened.
Oh my. This quest that you were on to learn about the paranormal and all the supernatural happenings, what drives you to be a part of this quest?
Oh, it's kind of like a high, like when I go out and investigate and you get a little hit off of something, or something happens, or something feels funny and it's like spooky. It's like, ooh, what was that? And it's just like a high. It's just like chasing that feeling of excitement.
There's Blob.
Oh,
Is it about the scariness of it all, the thrill seeking, or are you searching for answers?
all of the above. Yeah. I love history. I think history was probably my favorite subject in school because it actually made sense to me. I love old things. I love learning about old things. Like I love the 1800s. Yeah, it's kind of like everything. And even if, like, I even enjoy going to places that are old and have history, even if they're not haunted, but chances are that they probably are.
You live in like a rich area of like old battle, like Civil War churches,
Mhm.
like 1700s. That we don't have that up here, Dave. We have like late 1800s at the oldest. So it's totally interesting. And yeah, I would probably feel the same way if I lived in your neck of the woods with all of the old historical stuff. I think that would take up my entire time.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like, I'm always watching YouTube videos. There's a YouTuber I follow who's in Pennsylvania, and he goes to lots of places like this, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, let me add that to my list," or whatever. And I'm not very far from Gettysburg. I'm not far from Philadelphia. So there's Fort Mifflin, which is a Revolutionary War fort. I've been there. I've investigated there. Had some weird residual energy, which is strange because I tend to pick up residual energy more than anything. For example, when I went into Fort Mifflin, they have these different cells where they held different types of prisoners, and they would call them casemates, and they would number them. And the first one that I went into was one that they actually found not that long ago. It was kind of buried, and I guess somebody found it while they were mowing the grass there. And it was like a solitary confinement. It's like a solitary confinement, for just like one person to be in there. And I went in there with my sister and 2 other people, and they were setting up their gear and investigating. And the whole time I'm in there, and I'm getting so agitated. I'm getting angry. I'm like, just get me out of here. And I'm like irrationally like mad. So I mean, it was after the fact that I got home that I started realizing, oh, I was probably feeling whatever's left over there. And then there's another one where they had held the Confederate soldiers in the one casemate. And I had gone in there, and I had to walk out after like 2 minutes. I started getting really dizzy and nauseous, and I had a headache. And at the very end, we all met back up, and we were saying our goodbyes to the person that was the host there, who was in charge of locking up. And I pulled him to the side and I said, "What's the deal with this area?" And I had told him, and I said, "Is there a lot of residual energy that happens there?" And I told him what happened to me, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "That's where the Confederate soldiers were held, and they had dysentery, they were all sick and everything." So it totally, completely made sense as to why I was feeling all of these things.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
Fort Mifflin, that was a Union fort? What is it? What was it? What was it used for, essentially?
It was used during the Revolutionary War, but it's been active ever since. They'll still do drills there. I think like the weekend that I had gone, they had just did something the day before, and the energy was kind of low, and we were wondering if that's why, because there were so many people in and out of there. But yeah, um, it's right on the water, and yeah, I don't know like all of the history to it exactly, but
Nice.
yeah.
So do you think that like the drills and like the reenactments or the anniversaries that happen there, do you think that charges up the paranormal or the ghost activity?
It could. I think it's possible. I have my friends that said, we went into the one where they would keep the gunpowder. There's a like a section. It's kind of like a dome built, and there's like ground and grass on top of it. And they said if you would light a candle and you would yell fire, that the candle would get blown out, because they wouldn't want any fire in there if it had been full of gunpowder back in the day. And at the very end, two of the people I was with, they had gone back in there, and they said they heard somebody running behind them, which was crazy, because it must have been some kind of residual energy. So, yeah, I think it's possible.
You ever been scared?
Not, yeah, not really, not so really like scared. More so really bad feelings. This is bad. I need to get out of here. Really bad gut feelings. I went to the Shanley Hotel, which is in New York State. It's kind of near the Catskills. That place scares me because I just know, I don't know how I know, but I feel it, that there's definitely evil there. I was supposed to stay overnight at that place, and the whole week before my trip, I was waking up around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm waking up worrying about this trip, and I'm thinking, I can't go. I'm not supposed to go here. I can't go. But I had already paid a ton of money because it was a whole weekend trip and there was other things included. So it was costing me a lot. And I said, okay, well, I'm just gonna go. And I went, and I walked in the doors, and I was freaking out in my head, thinking, I can't stay here. And this woman took me up to where I was supposed to stay, and I got really bad anxiety on the steps, thinking that there must have been something bad that happened here. And then she took me to my room, and I mean, this place was like, I've always heard people say it, but I've never experienced it until the Shanley. It was darker than dark. It was darker than it should have been in there. There was just this like heavy presence, thick blackness in the air, and it was not good. And then I went downstairs to meet up with the rest of my friends. They were unpacking, and I'm just sitting there, and my other friend's sitting next to me, and I'm just starting to get not good. I'm not really sure what was happening to me.
Laura, hold on to that story. We're going to return to it when we return for the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Merle's here with Ghosts of the Great White North. We'll be right back. All right, we're clear.
Merle Nokia. So we're
Yeah.
we're doing Disney tonight, huh?
Disney themes tonight.
Okay.
Look at the blob there. The blob is looking awesome.
That has flower one, but that felt like 5 minutes actually. That's quick.
I
Dave,
feel
she's-
like I'm talking more than anybody, but that's what I'm supposed to do.
Your job here.
Yep. You make our job easier. That's what you're supposed to do. Right, Dave?
That's right.
Good times. Well, we'll continue your story, and I know you have. There's the one I want you to tell Dave is the burn. Is it Burn Brae? That's where the stuff went down.
That's going to take me a minute to tell that story. So,
You'll have about 22 minutes.
Yep.
yeah.
The show.
Yeah, that's a long one.
Hey, Dirty Filth, it's been a while since Blob showed up. Can we get a better camera angle?
Better camera angle of blob.
There we go.
Oh,
There's Blob. There's the Blob.
Say hello,
right?
blob. Everybody loves you.
Have a good blob.
There's Blob.
oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
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 jeez.
look
Look
at
at that. What a difficult life.
I know, right?
Rono how you doing?
You know who
Yeah.
sends me a hello, Dave? Roy Washington.
Oh, love Super Quest.
Yep.
Sherry Diane Hernandez, how are you? She's showing cat love right there. Look at that cat love right there. Dogface Simon doubling up on the super chats right there. Joining Major Lee.
Look at
Yeah.
Blob. What a big
Blob
shot.
That's Blob. It's good blobbing. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
blob.
fight.
You're going to get some extra snacks.
Serious. Good old Blobbert. High quality blobbing.
There's blob fuzz everywhere, blob. Unbelievable.
I wonder if we'll get a dot sighting tonight.
Oh yeah, where is the dot?
I messaged him.
Fucking dots.
You didn't get your dot FaceTime yesterday.
No, I
No, I was
know.
with him. Yeah.
What a jerk.
The dot was too busy.
Is he too busy or too good for me?
You know, take it how you want, Dave. I don't want to be the Baron of Bad.
Look at Mel WD-40 lubing up with a lube chat right there.
We need new
Holy
Merle
blob.
shirts.
We got great Merle shirts on as it is.
But they weren't approved. They weren't approved by Merle shirt.
The Merle shirts that are on there are fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll
All
look
right.
for something for you.
They're
Merle.
amazing.
I'll look for something for you.
That gives me fear.
I was just going to say that's not going to be good.
It happens. Oh, let's see here. Where are we going now?
You want to know anything about the Pulse, Dave, on any podcast, paranormal podcast or paranormal YouTube show? This is the one to talk to. that she knows it all.
I listen to a lot of stuff and I pay attention.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm bad that way. I'm real bad that way. Hold on. I know. All right. 25 seconds before we get going here. Thank you to Simon Times 2, Mel WD40, and Major Lee for the super chats. Don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you go check it on out and pick yours today. You deserve it. You deserve good things. Let's make this happen. Continue on with Spaced Out Radio tonight. The second half hour now underway. My name is Dave Scott. I very much appreciate hurting your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America. Good to have you. And of course, you can listen to us on any major podcast network, including which ones? YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and everything in between, iTunes, Google Play, every other one. And our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Merle's here for Ghosts of the Great White North. Laura Elizabeth from Midnight in the Mountains podcast. You were telling a story right before the break.
Yeah. I made sure to remember. You want me to pick up right now where we left off?
Please do.
Yes,
That
however, you have
Yes.
what is the Shanley Hotel? What makes it haunted?
So it was a brothel back in the day. It was I believe it was a speakeasy. There would be some not good characters that would come and stay there. Apparently there were ghosts of serial killers in the attic, according to the people that run it. So supposedly the little girl, I believe her name was Rosie, she got murdered, I believe, by her father, and then he supposedly threw her down the well. There's a well right on the property. You can see it. It's boarded up now. I did not do any research, but that's the story that I have heard about that. And then the chat, they're saying Shanley or Stanley. Yeah, Shanley in New York, not Stanley in Colorado. But yeah. So with, and then I believe that I believe they found bodies or something in the basement, but don't quote me on that, because I had seen that on a YouTube video after I got home. Because when I go to places, I like to go in knowing a little bit, but mostly blind. I don't want to know, because I don't want to get that in my head. And then I am wondering, oh, am I just thinking this because of whatever I heard or watched on YouTube? So to leave where we left off, I had gone downstairs after I threw my book bag on my bed where I was supposed to stay. And I went downstairs and everybody else is unpacking their stuff. And I'm sitting there in one of these chairs, and my friend's sitting next to me, and he looks over at me and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No." I said, I feel like I'm going to cry and I don't know why. But mind you, 3 minutes before this, one of the ladies that runs it came in, and she starts telling us all this stuff. about how there's a ghost cat and Native American spirits there, and she said that she has a demon in a box in her room, which just threw up red flags to me, and I was like, okay, this is great, and whatever's there is affecting me even worse. And someone had asked me once, is it because this person was telling you all this stuff? And I said no, because I was already starting to feel it, and it was just coming on even stronger. And my friend said, do you want to go outside? And I said yes. So I get up and we go to the doors and we get outside, and I'm like just reaching for the doors, and like I just start bursting into tears as soon as I get out the door. And I'm just overwhelmed with this sadness and just really, really bad feeling. And we walk outside, and I said, I need to get off the property. So we walked down the street and sat on the property in the grass next door. And then we called one of our mutual friends at the time, and she had said, she's like, I knew this was going to happen to you. She's like, I knew you were going to get hit with this, because she's sensitive in her own way. And so I get on the phone with her, and I'm crying, and I don't know why I'm crying. I just, whatever's there is showing me its sadness is what I've come up with. And she said, you can't stay there. You're going to get jumped by something. You need to get a hotel. You need to get an Airbnb or whatever. I said, okay. And I get on my phone, and I find an Airbnb, and I made my friend go inside and get my bag off of my bed. Like, I didn't even step foot on the porch. I wouldn't even go back in there, because I'm just knew that something that was there that was just really bad. So yeah, that was the Shanley. I'm never going back there, I don't think. But now I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm a little curious. So it's probably not a good idea.
The Shanley needs Merl to check it out, Dave.
Yeah, I knew you'd want to go there.
Oh yeah, if it's popular, Merl wants to go there.
Yeah, it is. It's it's a hot spot.
He's our resident paranormal tourist.
Nice hat.
Oh yeah, the show's falling off the rails already. Falling off the rails.
Do you think, I've never asked you this, but I've thought about asking you this. Do you think you may be sensitive because you've had a lot of experiences where you almost come off as an empath because you absorb all of the energies and feelings and all that sort of stuff at these properties?
Yeah. A couple of years ago, so I've probably been heavy into the paranormal podcasting and YouTube maybe the last 4 or 5 years now. And I've met a bunch of people along the way. And I've had 3 or 4 separate people at different times say to me that you're an empath. And it was all around the same time too. And it was like when I first started really getting into stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, that really makes sense. That really makes sense as to a lot of things in my life, actually. So, yeah.
Did anything happen the rest of the night with your friends there? Because I know you didn't go back.
Oh, yes.
What's the tea?
It did. So I actually went. This trip was with Tony Merkel from The Confessionals, and I say that because I went on an episode of his, and we talked about it. And I think he's talked about it on some of his other shows too. So if anybody's curious, you can kind of dig that up and go look for that. But when they were that place, I don't know. I kind of like saying that the one woman said she had a demon in a box, and what I found out is after I left, they were doing what you would call a human pendulum thing, where people were standing all around in a circle, and then one person was in the middle, and you let your body be the pendulum and go yes or no or whatever. And it was working from what I heard, and that just kind of was disturbing to me, because I feel like that's like you're using your entire body, not just a spirit box or a Ouija board or something. Not to say that nothing can't come through those, but that just sounds really bad to me, that you're opening yourself up completely to stuff. So there was that happened, and it was working. Like people were moving and stuff. And then there was one point where Jack, Tony's brother, they went up in the attic, and none of them liked it up there. They said it was really, really creepy. And there was one point where Jack just goes running out of the attic, and he's like, I can't. And they're like, what's wrong with you? And he said that he heard whispering, like, shh, 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 like in his ear. And he just freaked out and ran out of the room. So there was that happened. I believe they had some like REM pod hits, or like, that, what is that, the flux thing with the lights on the triangle on each side. They had stuff going off on that was actually responding, like, go right or left, light up. That was coming through. Yeah, they said it was an interesting night, and it just, so.
Now, did they ever find the demon in the box? Did they find the box?
No. That was her own personal, so that was her own personal stash, because when she had taken me up to my room was one of her name was Anna, she was a lady of the night that used to work there, and it was Anna's room I was supposed to stay in, and that's obviously is supposed to be a very haunted room. And I put I couldn't even go in there. I put my bag down on the bed. I took a step in, and I took a step right back out, and I said to that lady, I said, are there any other rooms I can stay in? And she goes, no, there's only my room, but that's my room, and it's full of all these haunted objects. I was like, okay, great.
Dave, would you investigate the demon in a box? I want to know more about it.
Absolutely, I would. Absolutely.
So many questions.
Yeah. I totally would go for that. I love things like that. Something different, like a Dybbuk box or a demon in a box or whatever it may be. I love the weird and strange. When I go out, and Merle knows this because I've said this many a times, I don't like the popular places. I don't. I like finding the obtuse, the strange, the out of the way, off the trail type of investigation. I find it way much more fun, way intriguing, and it just seems to heighten the senses a little bit more on that.
No, I totally agree with that. I was always like that too, and I always had told myself I'm never gonna go to Penhurst. I'm never gonna go to these places where all these terrible, tragic things happen. But then I don't know, I learned more of the history, and I learned more of the hauntings, and I just got completely intrigued and just needed to go, and I just wanted to see it for myself and find out. So I was the same way, but I changed in that aspect as to where I'll pretty much go almost anywhere now.
See, I love the popular places for one reason. A lot of the people overlook the history and the actual events. They go look at the popular YouTube videos and go off their every word they say happens at these places. And a lot of times they miss out on what actually happened, or the actual history, or the real people that live there, based on facts or documents you dig up from Google or even archives. And I like to go, like when I was at the Washoe or the Mackey Mansion, it's all gone out of my head now, But when I was there, I knew everyone's names, what they did, their titles, and I try to connect with these historically popular haunted locations on a more personal level to see if I can pull out evidence, EVPs or whatever differently than a lot of the other people have tried with like their phone apps and that stuff. That's why I liked them, Dave.
Well, I'm not saying that they aren't fun or aren't haunted. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
it's just not for me. You know, except Brushy Mountain, I'd totally do that prison.
Ooh,
We were just talking about that.
yes, we were just talking about that the other day. I'm trying to get a trip together because I have a good handful of friends that live in Tennessee. So, and I just said to Merle the other day, I was like, we're trying to get this together. I was like, come if you want. So,
I would totally go there. But do you remember, back in the 90s when they had all of those prison shows, like documentary type shows on television? Like, I remember my Friday night, I was a student. So this is going back to like 96 to 98. And then on Friday night on Showcase Channel, they'd have Oz.
I remember
And
that.
then after Oz, they would have these shows on these major penitentiaries, whether it was, Alcatraz or some of the big ones that on either coast or whatever it may be. And they did one on Brushy Mountain. And I'll never forget like seeing the camera with the big rock walls that held in these prisoners on the courtyard and all of this. And it was pretty incredible. That's for sure. So that place I've always kind of been a little bit attracted to.
well, if we get the trip together, you're more than welcome to come down because we're gonna be looking to get it overnight. I think we can have like 12 people or something like that.
Couldn't that be fun, Dave? Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be kind of cool, actually. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
Kesha did a really good documentary there too on the paranormal.
Oh, are you being serious right now? Are you joking?
Yeah,
like I did watch that. I watched that myself, but I didn't know if you were. Anyways.
No, big time Kesha fan right there. That's what Merle's all about. He loves it.
yeah.
Right.
TikTok on the block, right?
I call her $ha.
I like that name better. That's the long version, right?
That's the long version.
Oh goodness.
$ha. 6 minutes to go before we have to go to break at the top of the hour. Goes to the Great White North with Merle and Laura Elizabeth tonight from Midnight in the Mountains. And Cinder Merle, when we look at
Love it.
When we look at all of the hauntings that are going on here, you and I have experienced almost like a changeover, like from hauntings going to cryptids, going to UFOs. Laura, have you found a lot of that as well?
I don't know. I'm not so sure. I don't know about I mean, I have a friend that has had a cryptid encounter. That is on. I'm not trying to plug my podcast, but that is. I finally sat down with him and actually got his dad on the phone too because they both think that they've seen some kind of dog man thing. So there's that. I haven't had any cryptid things, but I have had weird things where I've seen lights, like light orbs in the woods and several different colors of them. So I maybe more, I don't know if there's some kind of spirits or elementals or something. I definitely think everything's all tied together. Personally, I just haven't had it in my face where it's been all, there.
And I understand where you're standing because as somebody who's kind of been into it all and watching Merle grow into it, Merle was your cookie cutter paranormal investigator up until a few years ago. And now all of a sudden he's noticing that there's a lot more to it, and he's really opened up his mind and everything to it. And I don't think we talk enough about that, Merle, how you've kind of grown into that position.
You're right. Back when I started, I'm only ghost hunter. Don't want to know about anything else. Anything else is too hokey for me. But from doing spaced out radio, from experiencing what you and I have experienced, like with South, like the Bigfoot stuff, I even stumble on my words saying it now because I'm admitting it. I'm like, that happened. And when I saw the Black Triangle above Wolf Creek Mansion or Wolf Creek in Oregon, I guess I have experienced a lot more than just Gasper and his friends. And now I want to like explore more into cryptids and not just be on the cryptid kick. It's because I guess I'm evolving with all of the experience I have had now down that lane as well. Like I'm all about Mothman right now.
You are?
I am big Mothman guy.
When you have not mentioned that?
I'm like an onion, lots of layers.
Okay.
But it's true. And like before, when Dave would talk about Dogman and stuff like that, I would just do like a side eye or a side head to him. But from listening to all of the people we've talked to over the years, or the research I've done, or books I've read, there's a lot of possibilities out there. And you're right, Dave. I have evolved.
Yeah, you've grown quite well. But I mean, it also took you a lot to see a lot. I mean, when we started having, Sasquatch encounters out at Flight 21, you didn't want to believe that. You didn't want to believe the UFO or that you had seen an alien walking through the trees.
Mr. Black and White.
But you can't deny it.
No, that's true. There, Dave. You heard it first. I said I admitted it for you.
Oh, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but the one thing that I think is important is that the door is open to the idea that there is more to it than just going ghost hunting or going UFO researching. I mean, even though everything's drones these days and the UFOs have kind of disappeared, or going cryptid hunting. It just kind of says that there is a lot more to it.
I literally did a CE5 experiment last year. Remember? Like I did. It's on my YouTube.
I also need to now that there's like a huge audience, because it's been driving me crazy. Everybody is saying, "Oh, New Jersey drones, New Jersey drones." They're in Pennsylvania too, guys. I've been seeing them for probably the last month. Just so everybody knows.
It's not the same place?
Where?
No, it's not the same place.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they if we're getting into the drone talk with everything, I mean, they really are, as sickening as the topic is, and everybody's kind of worn out by it. It is to the point where you have to take it seriously with what are they? What are they doing there? Personally, I think it's a bunch of copycats and military drones and people flying theirs to, because YouTube and TikTok are very powerful platforms, especially if you can, get 100,000 to 1 million likes on a video.
Yeah.
1 million likes on a video is $3,000 to $5,000 or more in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Depending on your audience.
So these things too, and I mean, because the first night that they were in my area, I went outside, and I was outside for about an hour, and then I was frozen because it was extremely cold out. These things are huge. They're massive. They make no sound. They have white lights on the front and back of them. The one side has a red blinking light. The other side is that blue green colored. They're triangle shaped, and I sat there and I watched them right over my head, and you can see the black outline of them, and they were just flying in a grid pattern, and there were so many of them, but I couldn't tell how many there were because I didn't know how many times they kept repeating that grid pattern. And then I had seen one that made noise like a helicopter, and it had red lights on it, and that was it. And then after that, I had ones that flew directly over my house, and they had some kind of chemtrail coming out of them. And I'm like, what the heck is that? So that made me really uncomfortable because I'm thinking, okay, do they all have this? And I just couldn't see it, and I could only see it because this was above me. But
Hold that thought. Hour 2 of Ghost of the Great White North. Comes up. Excellent. Spaced Out Radio with our big man Merl and Morin. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, let's turn everything over to our main man, Dirty Filth. He's coming on in after a good blob sighting.
It's part of my Valentine's Day cards, Merle.
Love it. Pizza 411.
Yeah, when I print out a bunch, I'll send you some. So you can give them to your pals.
Love it.
I always print out a bunch and I bring some to work and I give them to like all the drivers and stuff.
I love
it's
it.
Kind of funny because some of the drivers are like super rednecky. Like, what the hell you give me this shit for? Come on, have a Valentine's Day card. And all their tough exterior just melts away.
Love it. I wonder if what I saw at the Wolf Creek Inn, because it was a triangle with a green and red light and it was silent. Dave, what was it?
Dave's abandoned you. He's gone
Dave's
outside.
abandoned me. All right, Filth, what was it?
It was government technology for sure.
that's
Good.
what I think it is. I think it's some kind of military something or other.
I
Yeah.
just have a hard time believing aliens would put lights on their craft. Like as if.
Oh no, it's definitely not.
And I don't think if you're Chinese drones or something, why would you put flashing lights on to be spotted? It just makes zero sense.
Yeah, if we really didn't know what they were, we would have shut them down by now. I mean, come on.
They did that 2 years ago over Canada, those UFOs and that Chinese balloon thing. They just kind of like never heard about it. You think that would be something that'd be like, definitely it was Chinese. Here's the like Chinese government symbol on the side of it, but they just kind of like, yeah, we shot it down, whatever. Actually, the ones I think they shot down over Canada, I think it was American fighter jets that shot them down.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't there something like out west in America that they shot down? I think over Montana or somewhere like that too, or something.
There's a couple of them. They just kind of mentioned a few, and then mostly mentioned that big one they shot down over the Atlantic, I think. And then they just kind of
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah, just went
There was
away.
one-
Yeah.
There was one over, I think it was the Yukon and territory in Canada. And good luck trying to ever find that thing in the massive forest up there. And of course, if you went on the ground to get to it, you'd have to deal with angry Sasquatches and things like that.
Oh.
You know what,
looking
Merle?
What was that?
Sorry, I was going to say when I send you those Valentine's cards, because you forward them every year, I actually found another drawing of yours for you that I've done. That I did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's in the pile somewhere. I can't go find it right now. I apologize.
I should show you my little area and like where my computer is. What's a bunch of your the drawings you did for me in little frames? They're awesome.
Thanks.
Yep.
Varla got my Christmas card, and she showed me the little. I stashed one of my cartoons in one of her books, and she just found it the other day. It's kind of funny. It's like it's like over a year old.
That's awesome.
Right before I went on here, I was on Instagram and I saw that Varla posted a picture that you drew for her.
Yeah, that was my Christmas card.
Yeah.
And then also the cactus that I stuck in.
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that.
I'd like to get my books and everything into a chapters or something, and they could just walk in there and open it and sign it. They'd be like, people would be like, you can't do that. I'd be like, excuse me, buddy, it's my book. I get probably thrown out of the place anyways.
It'd be good. But that's funny. Varla found it after a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of digging through stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
time capsule.
Jim Goodall. I drew a picture of Jim Goodall the other day too.
I think he's coming to Vegas.
Of course he is.
Yeah, he comes every year. Love it. Oh, that's awesome.
Actually, that's what the conversation would be like. Just let me take it for a spin.
That's exactly how it would go.
No. Sorry, Jim. You can't take the UFO for a spin.
Not this time. So you're doing a series.
Dave just steal the UFO. Anyways, it's almost time to see cat snacks. I'll give Blob extra snacks, Dave. I promise.
Good job tonight, Filthy.
Thanks, pals.
Beautiful.
Have a good night, everybody.
See you,
Good night. Dirty filth, everybody.
Well, Dave, it's almost time to go to hour number 2.
What's that?
It's almost time to go to hour number 2. We got to get into Burn Brae.
I know. We're going to.
That's a lot of talking.
That's okay. We got time.
22 minutes.
All right. Big thank you tonight to Simon times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Double hat trick with 7 super chats tonight. Thank you to Major Lee and Mel WD40 for lubing us up with that super chat. Here we go, everybody. Here we go with hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We're going to get more paranormal stories from Merl on both the Great White North here momentarily. But first, we want to say hello to everyone listening in on terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What do you have for us tonight, Clam? Hostellum. Hostellum is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Here's our good friend Merle from the Paranormal Road Trippers, based out of Vancouver, British Columbia, where we're talking all things ghostly and adventures. And we always love having Merle here. And a big shout out in our chat room on YouTube tonight. Little Jimmy Goodall is here, our guest from a couple nights ago. We love it when Jim shows up. He's one of the best. He's a legend, literally a legend. Merle, good to have you here.
Thanks, Dave. Happy to be back, as the usual. And we still have Laura with us, Dave. And she's going to be telling us some ghost stories of her journeys in the paranormal field.
Yep. Okay.
Well, one, Laura.
All right. So this is probably the craziest thing that's ever happened to me paranormally. So there's this place called the Burn Brae Mansion. It's in Glen Spey, New York, and it was built in 1908. And it was the Mackenzie family that built it. And the father of all these children, because there were 7 mansions built, he was the 3rd president of the Singer Sewing Machine, which was a massive company. And so back in the day, it was this summer home, and I believe they lived in Jersey City. And then it got turned into a boarding house at one point. It was a tea room during Prohibition, and the current owners, they run it as a bed and breakfast now. So I went there my first trip, and I had actually just spoke about the Shanley Hotel that I went on with Tony Merkel. Well, the first trip I went on was with Tony also, and we went to Burn Brae, and his brother-in-law and his brother-in-law's girlfriend, they own a travel company. That's their business. So they put the trip together for us. And I'm still good friends with them today, which is really cool. And so the first trip was a lot. We get there sometime in the afternoon, and we meet the owners, and then after dinner they have a team that's like their house team of paranormal investigators. So we meet them, and the lead investigator is kind of giving us the rundown, and she's telling us, don't be disrespectful, make sure that you're nice and stuff. She says, because I've seen things happen. I've seen a grown man break down and cry because he was basically acting a fool. So there's this one guy who, I believe his personality was just that he was just a jokester, because he was like that from the beginning of the trip. And he starts making comments about, that he wants the ghosts to do stuff to him, like to come at him and scare him and whatever, just being not smart. So we did dowsing rods. I think, I don't remember if it doesn't really matter if we started off with them or not, but we did dowsing rods. And this investigator is telling us that this little girl named Ellie is in the house, and she can communicate through dowsing rods with them. And a couple of us did it, and she did it where she had them point the dowsing rods to the person they wanted to next. And I did it. And that was the first time I ever did it. And I can tell you that it was definitely legit, because I had a friend come up to me afterwards, and she's like, "Was that real?" And I said, "Oh my God, yeah." Holding them, it feels like somebody was trying, like you could feel them like struggling to move these dowsing rods, because it was taking effort on their part to do this. So she's telling us that this is this little girl. And in the back of my head, I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not it really is. They said that this is what the investigator told us, that she had passed away in the house, that her grandfather killed her, and the father of Ellie had eventually taken his own life because he couldn't take the loss of his daughter. So there's that. Then we split up into 3 groups, and I'm not in the group with this jokester, but the tour guide hosts, Creed and Jen, they're in the group. So they witness everything throughout the whole night. And when we had split up into these groups, we did, they called it lockdown. So we were all shut in different rooms, and we could hear footsteps walking through the hallway. And apparently this place is known for that. It's also known for babies crying.
Oh.
So in the one room, they took us in there and they explained it to us that if you go in there, the newer owners had found a room that was closed off. It was like a secret room, and they opened it up, and it has a baby cradle and like a little baby doll, a little baby chair in there. So there is, I believe that there is actual like proof that a baby had passed away there. So we were kind of thinking maybe that's why they blocked it up, because it was too painful. And there's also a woman in white that could be seen in this one hallway. So I mean, women in white are usually tied into the loss of a child, so it makes a lot of sense. So there's that part. And then the Burn Brae mansion has this attic that is massive, And when I tell you it's filled with antiques, it is filled with antiques on like every square inch that they could put an antique. It's on the walls, it's on the ceilings, it's on tables, stuff sitting on the floor. They have anything and everything. The owner said that most of the stuff was there when they got the place, but then they just kept adding to it. And the owner will always say that he told us that there was nothing, there's nothing bad in the mansion. So now flash forward through the night, this guy, the jokester guy, he's crying, and I don't know what's going on with him. And it gets to the point where later on the night that he is so distraught that he won't even speak to anybody. He went out and sat on the porch swing with the lead investigator, and people are trying to come up to him and say, hey, like, you know what happened? And he's literally not speaking. So I guess, I mean, I didn't ever really know what happened to him. And it wasn't till after the trip that I was talking to Jen that I found out what happened, because I had just assumed that it was that he was being disrespectful and just making fun of the spirits. And yes, that's part of it, I believe. But Jen and Creed went back. They took other people. And she told me that the exact same thing that happened to this jokester guy happened to another guy who was being disrespectful and doing whatever he was doing. But then Jen adds another layer onto it. She tells me that in the attic, there is this spittoon, which is an old-fashioned thing that people would spit their chewing tobacco into. Apparently that thing is got some kind of crazy attachment to it, because the owner told Jen that whenever he goes near it or touches it or bumps it, if he's cleaning the attic, something bad happens to him that day. And so I find that out, and I don't know, this place, it's just crazy. So that happens to that guy. They also they took a picture with a FLIR, and they got an image of some kind of shadow figure sitting on the couch next to somebody, and they felt like they were being held down on the couch. And in the picture, there's somebody's hand is on their shoulder sitting next to them where they felt it. And she had sent me that picture, and it just creeped me out so bad. And then so flash forward to, I go back to Burn Brae with a bunch of my friends, and I'm kind of thinking, oh goodness, what's going to happen? And I'm telling my friends, I'm saying, you know, because all my friends that I go with they're very respectful. They're not any kind of, they don't antagonize, nothing, because I wouldn't hang out with them if they did that. I'm not into that. So I'm telling them, you know, stay away from the spittoon in the attic. And they're like, oh, you know, whatever. Okay. They're like mocking me. And I'm like, okay, like whatever. So throughout our night, we split up, a couple of us, and we're in little small groups. And then in the middle of the investigation, our one friend says, go gather. He gathers everybody up, calls us all downstairs, and he sits us down and he plays his recorder for us, and it has an EVP on it. And the EV, like, they're trying to ask questions and stuff, and the EVP says, get out of here. And we're all looking at each other like, is this real right now? You know, this isn't good. And the crazy thing is, this other girl and her boyfriend were in the back of, they were in the attic when they got this EVP. And this girl and her boyfriend were standing in the back next to the spittoon. And what happened was when she was up there, she said she saw a bat fly at her face, and she ducked on the ground, and she started crying and like freaking out and just absolutely hysterical, completely distraught. And she's not afraid of bats. nobody else saw a bat. So whatever was up there, she believes was trying to scare her and was trying to just show her this image of this bat. And I mean, and then I believe they came down, and I know her boyfriend was really scared too, and I found out that he had like tears in his eyes and he was crying too. And I mean, the two of them they're bodybuilders. They're extremely tough. They're not this girl, I've investigated with her before. I've seen her when something happens, she's the first one to get up and run over to where it happened and go check it out and try to debunk it. So the two of them, they're crying, and I'm just sitting there in amazement because I'm like, I've seen this happen before. I've been here when this has happened, and I'm thinking, what is this? This is not good, whatever this is. So I find out that I guess when her boyfriend was trying to leave the attic, he just stops and stands there, and the one other guy that's my friend says, like, "What are you doing? Come on." And he goes, the girl's boyfriend goes, I can't move, and tears start streaming down his face. So, and I mean, they're both big dudes. My other friend, he's tall, he's jacked, and he had to go over and physically pull this guy away to break him out of whatever paralysis this was, to get him downstairs and get out of the attic. So, I mean, we all kind of regrouped and we met up downstairs in the dining room. And then this girl was like, I want to go back and I want to face it head on. And I said, I don't really think anybody should go back up there. And she insisted. So me being curious, and I can't help it, so I follow them too. And I go back upstairs. I want to see what's going to happen. And she goes up there, and then she starts crying again. And then all of a sudden it just passes like it had moved out of the attic. And the crazy thing is that my one friend Patrick, he's gone all over. He's been over to England, to some of the scariest, like Ram's Head Inn, all those really haunted, really scary places. And he's actually a tour guide at Penhurst on the weekends. So he doesn't scare easily, but he was really, really unsettled. He was really creeped out. He felt like whatever was in the attic had moved out of the attic and was moving around the house. And he was supposed to sleep in the room upstairs where the hidden baby room was. And he said every time he tried to close that door, he said it would keep opening. So he's like, I'm not sleeping up there. And my friend and I were supposed to sleep in the room next to him. So, but by the end of the night, there was 5 grown adults all sleeping, trying to sleep in the same bedroom because we were so freaked out. But there's even more that happened when we were there. Earlier in the night, my one friend and this other girl were sitting on the bed that I ended up trying to sleep in. They said they saw a face like move from, like, if the window's here, it like moved over and like stuck its head and like looked in the window, and it was like this white face. And I got really creeped out when they told me that. And then I realized that we were on the 2nd floor. So there's that.
There's nobody up there. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were doing the Estes method in that room. And my friend Rich was in the closet, and he had the headphones in, and he's in the dark closet, and they're out. The rest of them are out in the bedroom area asking questions. And they said that I wasn't in the room for this, but they said that the door handle was jiggling. And so they opened up the closet, and they're like, Rich, what are you doing? And he turns around, he's facing the wall, and he's got his hands in his pocket.
Oh.
So yeah. So I mean, and then in the middle, it was, I mean, we didn't all, other girls went to sleep when the sun came up. I think me, my friend Joe, and Patrick were all still awake, just kind of looking at each other laying there. And I had to get up to go to the bathroom, which was right across the hall. And Joe's like, "Do you want me to stand in the hallway with you while you go?" And I said, "No, it's okay, but I'm gonna leave this bedroom door open." He said, "Okay." So I go to the bathroom, I come back, and Patrick and Joe are just wide-eyed, and I'm like, "What happened?" And he goes, they were like, "We heard footsteps and voices and like whispers in the hallway when you were in the bathroom." And I had just walked through there twice, and it just, and the very first time, which I forgot to mention, the very first time when I went there, I might have slept like maybe 2 hours when I was there. I couldn't sleep in the room that I was supposed to sleep in because it made me so uneasy. The hallway, just walking down that hallway really is unsettling, and this one bedroom at the very end of the hallway makes me extremely uncomfortable. And I said, "No, I can't sleep here." So the first time when I was there, I had asked this girl that I barely knew. I said, "Can I sleep in this room with you?" And there was 2 beds, and she's like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine." I said, "Okay, thanks." And I lay down to go to sleep, and I'm in my head, I'm praying for protection and stuff because I just felt so uncomfortable. And twice when I was drifting off to sleep, I felt something touch my leg.
Oh,
And I got pretty mad because I'm thinking, I just asked you, like, please don't touch me. I need to sleep. And I didn't have a good feeling there. And it's just kind of, I don't know what's going on in that attic, but the next day when we got up, my friends kind of sat down at the table and said to the owner, "So what's going on in your attic?" And he acted like nothing was wrong. Nothing was going on. And since then, I think it was afterwards I had talked to Jen and she told me about the whole spittoon thing. And no, it had to have been, I must have talked to her before and after my trip. And I had also was watching, videos on Burn Brae when I got back. And the owner was doing interviews saying that there's something like bad in the attic. But then he's telling us that there's nothing bad up there. So I know that's not true. I don't know. But we were in talks of going back there in the spring, so I don't know if that'll happen, but I think I'm gonna go if it happens.
that's
Yeah.
another one I really want to go to because I would love to. I would want to be in one of the rooms alone, no matter how scared I was, just to try and document the evidence. And I would really love to pick the property owners or the curator's brain about all of the antiques and see if they hype up the place to kind of trick investigators into being a little more vulnerable feeling, like they're saying that there's dark stuff there and all that, so they kind of set the tone. But I would just want, there's so many experiments I'd want to try in a place like that to see what exactly it is you're dealing with. If it is the objects, if it's something that's there, if it's residual, if it's hype up. There's just so many things with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be some of everything, to be honest, because there's there's a lot of stuff there. And the other thing that I had found out through a little bit of research is that little girl Ellie didn't even die at that house. She died in Jersey City, and that investigator was telling us that she did. So I don't know if I don't know if that was a story or if she just mixed a story up or something, but I mean, you definitely, like, I know you always say, like, do your history, because not everybody always has it right and not everybody's going to tell you what's correct. So just watch out for that too.
Because yeah, like spooky things make money.
On that note, Merle, Laura, we're going to go to a break here. Our final break with these two at the bottom of the hour. Right north with Merle.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Strong story. Good story.
Did I just talk for 22 minutes straight?
Yep. What do you think of Merle the Pooh?
I like that one.
Yeah.
I
Merle
want
the
something
Pooh.
fun.
You get to come to Vegas with us.
There you go.
Oh, thanks.
Tucker, how you doing?
Yeah, no, I went down the rabbit hole on researching the Burn Brae. Like that's one that I would really want to do because I'd like to challenge the authenticities of the hauntings.
There's something
Oh,
I
for
don't
sure.
know for that to. I mean, and that's like the investigator said she saw it happen to some guy. I saw it happen to some guy. Jen and Creed see it happen. And then I see it happen to 2 more people. And I was just under the impression that it was something that you had to be disrespectful for it to come after you. And apparently that's not the case.
I think curiosity also does it because I talked about it a long time on Spaced Out Radio about Mandy the Haunted Doll. Like the first time I met her, I wasn't disrespectful, but I was overly curious. Or wouldn't say I was challenging the doll, but I was low-key challenging the doll. And it took me over. And Dave likes this story because it's terrifying. We're about to start our investigation. I go outside to my truck, and then I blank out. This is after I had kind of stared into the doll's eyes for a bit. And I wake up to walking onto the Highway 1, like equivalent to like an interstate. And I was trying to walk into head-on traffic. But I was stopped in the nick of time by our team's medium. And I don't recall any of it. What do you think, Dave?
Still scares me, that one.
Sorry, I got distracted because, I mean, I've heard you tell that story a bunch of times, and that's absolutely terrifying. I got distracted because for some reason my YouTube chat went away, so I was trying to fix it, and then someone's comment said that Dave's busy picking out his breakfast for dinner, and I
No.
forgot about that.
No bullshit like that.
Hey, Dave, I had breakfast for lunch today. How do you feel about that?
Uh-oh.
Is that okay?
That's just wrong.
Oh, I have breakfast for lunch all the time. I have egg sandwiches like all the time for lunch.
You guys are terrible.
Yeah, I literally had it today, Dave. But what do you think? I guess we can save it for the half hour. I was going to ask you what. Yeah, I'll just wait till I'm going to put you on the spot.
I was going to say you could ask me now so I could think of my answer.
Just what do you think things like that are? Is it hype? Like, because Dave and I have talked about it a lot, like especially with paranormal tourism.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts on that. Yeah.
What do you think, Dave?
I like paranormal tourism if it's done properly.
I do too.
You know, I have no problem with it. I think it's a good way and for a lot of these museums to raise money. You know.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is much needed. I mean, you think of how many over the last 20 years without paranormal tourism, how many of these buildings would have been lost or privatized or totally changed around, you know, to lose their historic value because some yuppie wants to move in there and, you know, and have wine and cheese parties. on a Tuesday night, because it's never a Friday or Saturday. It's always a Tuesday night, right?
Yeah, it's a perfect night. It's not busy, you know?
So now I'm going to show the best name of the night right now. Can anybody guess what it is? Here it comes. Merle,
come
don't
on.
say anything because you'll there is a delay on YouTube. Here it comes.
That's my favorite.
Can I talk
There it
yet?
is. There it is, people. The
Dave
little
just didn't want me to
mermaid.
talk.
The little mermaid.
I love it.
Uh,
That's me. I hear Chirpy back there.
yeah. How good is that one?
I thought it'd be like the Merle King. That'd be cooler.
All right. We got 7 seconds, guys. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Goes to the gate, Great White North, with our paranormal extraordinaire investigator, the little mermaid, joining us tonight. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, our archives are always free. Go to YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here's Merle. Here's Laura Elizabeth. Paranormal stories going on left, right, and center. It always is fun when you can talk about the spookiness of all of this, isn't it, Merle?
Sure. The Little Mermaid. Mermaid, you mean?
Yes.
No, it is great stories. I like I really want to go to the Burn Brae. But on that note, paranormal, like we were just talking off on the break here, the paranormal tourism. I think we're all in agreement that it's good for history, it's good for the locations, and it's good to keep these places alive and tell their stories, be it from beyond the dead. But what's enough? Like enough is enough, Dave. Where do you draw the line with
on paranormal tourism?
Between tourism and exposing?
I think if these museums, these homes are doing it for the correct reason, I get worried about, these haunted bed and breakfasts that are charging $8,000 a weekend. I think that's ridiculous. I think that, I like paranormal tourism because it raises good money for a facility or a building or a landmark that may not have jurisdiction to government grants to keep it going. Like our local museum here where I used to do the ghost tour.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any government funding whatsoever. So the money that we raise through the ghost tour helps keep that place afloat for the year.
For sure.
And I like that. But if you're doing it for the sake of not preserving the heritage or the spirits that are there, we're going to lose a lot of these buildings, and like I said during the break, I mean, we don't need, a bunch of these houses. I mean, you take downtown Vancouver, for instance, which on the West End has a lot of 100-plus-year-old houses, and they've all been turned into yuppie suites with 4, 5, 6 different tenants. And that paranormal activity, even though it's there, but the lore of the house is gone. The lore of the location is gone. That history you can't get back.
No,
So,
I agree.
So I like it when they're doing it for the right reasons and not because, oh, well, maybe we'll get a television show to film here, or I'm not a fan of ghost walks. I think ghost walks are a waste of money. Great, we're going to walk on the street, you're going to point in a building and tell me the ghost that lives there, but we're not allowed to go talk to them. Why?
That's extra.
Oh, I love a ghost walk.
Not me.
No, I'm not a
Yeah.
fan either. I need to have an activity to do with it.
You're walking around. That's an activity.
I think in order to help save these buildings or even draw business to these buildings, they should be in cahoots with the ghost walks, where they stay open certain nights of the week and let people come in and just even experience the atmosphere. That would
That's
hook me.
actually
I would go on a ghost walk for that instead of, like Dave says, staring at a closed building in a seedy part of like East Vancouver because it's a haunted street. And it's not, some places it's not safe. Well, here it's not safe. But no, I think if you're going to preserve these locations, I think you need to develop a ghost walk, or sorry, advance a ghost walk from just a walk down the street with some stories.
I like that idea. I can get behind that.
And it brings awareness, and it just draws up more money. And even like here's one for you, Dave. I've actually wanted to ask you this while we're doing a show. And I know Laura will chime in on it too. What's your thoughts on a lot of the YouTube videos that are out there now for all these locations, like all the different influencer type videos?
I think we're seeing it a lot. I don't think there's as many paranormal as there was at one point, because the paranormal in popularity has kind of died down due to the UFO craze the last 8 years. And I think that the increase in UFO YouTube channels has jumped exponentially, like by the thousands. And it's not just in North America. You got to realize every country has people doing it.
Absolutely.
And I think if they're just putting up videos and explaining what people are seeing, as long as they're not trying to fool people with CGI or AI, I think it's great. But when you have people out there who are trying to provide, it doesn't matter whether it's UFOs or ghosts or your favorite sports team, where they're trying to provide inside information and insight to what is going on with your favorite team or your favorite location or this UFO personality or that cryptid personality, and all you're doing is talking to your friend about it, I think that's dangerous. I do, because you're invoking an opinion as fact, and a lot of people are going to take that and run with it, and that's how rumors start. That's how false stories start. So I'm very wary of that.
How do you weed them out? What's the best way, in your opinion, on weeding that stuff out?
You can't.
No?
You can't, because you can't tell the audience where to listen. You can't tell them, oh, don't go over to that show. They provide false information. Well, that just starts drama, online wars, and you don't know the type of people you're dealing with. I've met some very nice people in this field who are just absolutely cutthroat and don't understand what focus is.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to what we do on Spaced Out Radio, had to ban them. Good people, I like them, but I had to ban them from the channel because they started going wackadoo on us.
Fair. Laura, how do you seek out fun?
You don't want the answer to that.
A little bit of a bait there. Yep.
What'd you just say?
A little bit of a bait there. Yep.
Yeah, I enjoy both. There's YouTube channels that I know Merl is. They're not really authentic. I will say that. They're more of content and entertainment, and that's definitely for sure. But I still watch them because I like them. They're entertaining. Then there's some that I actually do believe that they really are doing what they say, and they actually are investigating, and they're not making up evidence. I don't really know how I would weed it out other than just by the vibe or the feel that I get off of that person. I don't, I don't, that's pretty much, I don't have an answer other than that, really.
No,
Does that answer the question?
it kind of does. No, it does. It's hard because there's just so much content out there, and it's hard to, especially with AI. Dave, AI scares me.
Well, I
Me
think what you're
too.
going to see in talking to a lot of people now, I mean, for the last number of years, a lot of people have been, claiming, where's the proof? Where's the evidence? The problem is there's a huge difference between proof and evidence. Evidence helps you define the proof of the story and the truth of the story. But we're never going to get proof or evidence. And now with AI and CGI, whereas if I take the UFO field, where UApology came in 2017 and really took over from ufology, people were like, show us the proof. There is no proof. There's evidence. There is no proof. A whistleblower isn't going to be able to all of a sudden say, hey guys, look what I stole it from Area 51 and I put it in my garage. This is Hawk the alien and this is his spacecraft. That's not the way it works. And I think what we're going to see happen is we're going to see a lot more as CGI and AI continues to improve, where it's going to eventually look so realistic, we're not going to be able to tell the difference. Now we're going to have to go way back to old school and rely on those stories. Sure, you can investigate, but you're not going to be able to trust anybody else's evidence. You can't. It's too easily manipulated.
And I think that's like I think makes me a little twitchy when watching a lot of these paranormal content videos, or even just hearing stories. Well, more or less just watching the videos where they're claiming you can see the AI, like you can see it. Like when you upload videos now to YouTube, there's like 4 different areas you have to click off that there's no AI content. And then they're basically like, yes or no to AI. Are you sure there's no AI? And a lot of people are putting up some pretty crazy stuff now. And I don't know. I think it may be detrimental to our field.
But I mean, here's the thing too, and it's this younger generation, and I say that not to sound like an old crony, being at 51 and still incredibly handsome.
32 all the way. 32.
Thank you. Don't let the white beard fool you. But
Silver.
today it's not about the investigation for most investigators. It's about learning how to edit for YouTube. TikTok is way more important than actually finding something. And there's an extremely popular pair of young gentlemen, who are out there who have about 17 million subscribers. They're not there for the investigation. They're there for the freak out factor where they can look scared. All of their thumbnails look scared, but you know what? They're young, they're cute for the young ladies.
Are they though?
I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. 17 million people follow him for a reason.
Yeah.
Sure, the majority of them aren't men, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they are. I don't know. Not my opinion, right? But what I'm saying though is it's not about the investigation anymore when everybody can download onto YouTube. It's about the presentation. It's about being popular. And what can I do to get my video from 400 YouTube views in 6 months to 4 million? Because that 400, you're making about 5 cents, if that. Whereas 4 million views, or more, you're making on average, what is it, 5,000 per 100,000
Something like
views,
that. Yep.
5 to 10,000 per 100,000 views. So a million view video can make you 100 grand.
Yeah. And one thing I've like, I usually don't call myself this, but as a content creator, yeah, I said it. I've been really trying to focus on how to make the right formula in a video, and I love, because for me, celebrating haunted locations is number one for me. Number one, because you're doing it to help raise awareness, and the paranormal tourism side of things is you're trying to bring people to these locations. But you're right on the filming style and the way to edit for YouTube. That's the key. And I find the more looser you are on film versus being very regimented, like shot after shot after shot, the more guerrilla style filming, they call it, where you're just running around with your cameras, and what happens, gets you your clicks and likes and that stuff, versus like a very well done, thought out episodic investigation. It's bizarre to me, but I'm learning it. But you're right. It's the gotcha ghost. You need to be scared right now, instead of like 11 minutes into the episode after setting the tone of where you are are investigating.
I mean, yeah, we were talking about that the other night. Like, nobody wants to watch a boring video where nothing happens, because, I mean, that really is true. That's like, I don't know, a bunch of your time is spent at a haunted location asking questions into the darkness and getting nothing back. People don't want to sit on YouTube and watch that. But that, I mean, that really is the real reality of investigating ghost hunting. But I mean, like, I agree with everything you guys are saying about the faking, because I think that's ridiculous. But there's also part of like, to me, because I'm so genuinely interested in it, that I don't care if I don't have the evidence to show somebody, or if I can't present it, or because even if I could, there's still going to be people that aren't going to believe you.
Oh, for sure.
So who cares if they believe you or not? Because it doesn't matter. It matters to me that I know that I actually experienced something, that is real. And I know that there's certain people that will believe me. Then there's other people that won't, but that's fine. Like, I don't care if they don't believe me. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It does suck though, because it makes a lot of us look like, oh, they're just faking what they do, and paranormal is not real at all.
Well, I mean, it's ego too. And that's what social media has done for a lot of people. And look, I think it's great that the message is getting out there.
Mm-hmm.
And there are younger people every day who are taking an interest in these topics, and they are pushing it to the limits. And they have already mastered. Like, I look at my 11-year-old son, he can cut a video like nothing. And he just trained himself on CapCut because he wanted to learn. And that's what kids are doing. And then they find a subject, whether it's video games, whether it's sports, whether it's paranormal, supernatural, and they go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, their channel takes off because they've figured out the algorithms that go along with it. Look, I know this is boring radio for a lot of people who are bored with it, but it's going to get harder and harder to find quality information and history and actual ghostly or paranormal supernatural activity as the technology increases, and the importance of clicks and views is more important than the content at hand. I had a friend of mine who has over his name's Carl Crusher. He has over 3 million people on his YouTube channel, and he started his channel a number of years ago as a family channel, and they would do like all these family things, with Orbeez and balloons and all of this. They were getting multi-millions of clicks on their videos. Well, thing led to another. The family, Carl and his wife split up, so he took a break from the channel. Comes back, he's into the UFOs, he's into everything, and his views went from getting millions of views down to maybe 10,000, 20,000.
Wow.
And when you're over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, you actually get a person to call. You get your own hotline that you can call. Like you or me could not get a hold of somebody at YouTube. Once you hit that 1 million person mark, you're considered special, and you get the phone number. And so he called up YouTube, and he's like, "What's going on? I know how the algorithms work. I've had success with you in the past." And they actually recommended him going back to Orbeez videos rather than doing something a topic that is kind of shadow banned, like UFOs, like everything. But not all UFO channels are shadow banned. There are certain ones that are more viewed than others. Is it the algorithms? I think we kind of have a little bit of a grasp on the algorithms. We do what we're supposed to do to be successful, right? But it all depends if the YouTube algorithms have your channel marked or not.
I agree, and it isn't important. It's important for like listeners to even hear this, because you have an awesome show. You have one of the best radio shows out there in all of the land, and it's a lot of effort to make such great content as well. And it's kind of nice to talk about the back end of things as well, because like Laura does her show too, and it's interesting to hear your guys' take on that stuff, because it is really saturated in our field right now, and there's so many creators and all that sorts of stuff. But yeah,
we got 2.5 minutes to go before we have to say goodnight. Merle, what do you have coming up?
I'm on the road again in 2 days, actually. I'm going to the Palace Hotel in Port Townsend, Washington, and we're doing another documentary of that place. It was a brothel. It was I forget the term right now, where they would knock out sailors and put them on the boats, like in the 1800s, and force them to work on the ships. There's a tunnel underneath the hotel. Pardon?
Are you doing the Shanghai tunnels?
It's similar, but it's not Portland. This is Port Townsend. So yeah, kind of a version of that, but onto the Shanghai tunnels. I will be doing that in March.
I want to go.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Great. I want to do that one.
So yeah, and then we have our Vegas trip, Dave. And before Vegas, I'll be in Virginia City again. I'm very, very connected to that city for whatever weird reason.
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely wonderful. And what are you up to these days? And where can people find your podcast, Laura?
So I'm pretty much on any podcatcher that you can think of or find or whatever. I'm on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook or anything else like that. Just Instagram. It's midnight_in-the-mountains. And I post a lot of stuff that I'm doing. And yeah, that's about it. You get I definitely am always open to. I have a co-host too. His name's Aaron. He's a really good friend of mine. I've known him for probably 15 years now, probably more. And he does that with me, the show with me. And we like to take emails if anybody has any scary stories that they want to share with us and just want to share it, or if they want us to read it on the show, we will do that too. It's midnight_in-the-mountains@yahoo.com, and just send us an email.
Love it. Love it. And Merle, I can't wait to hang out with you in May, man, at Vegas for our Vegas party.
It's going to be a grand time.
I also I just want to say really quick, thank you for having me on, and everybody's been so nice in the chat. I've been reading a little bit, but the listeners really are awesome. So thank you.
We got great listeners. And for our radio audience, you could join us every night. If you don't want to tune into the radio side, you can, which we aren't trying to pull you away from those stations, but you can always come in and join our chat room each and every night. We got good people in there. Good
Always.
people on YouTube each and every night. And our Vegas party, May 1st to 5th. Everyone's invited. Nothing's going on. We're just hanging out. Everyone's invited. Swamp Dweller and a giant UFO report coming up next.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Good job tonight, people.
Great show, Dave.
Yeah. Happy.
Was that a Duck Dynasty reference?
No,
Oh, okay.
Could
Thought it
be.
I know you're a big Duck Dynasty fan, Merle. All right, guys. Have a
All
good
right.
night.
Ciao.
Little Merle made. Bye, Laura.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we'll be right back. Swamp Dwellers, only about 3 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. All right, we'll get that going here. All right. And we got just over a minute. Ready, little Timmy?
Yes, sir.
Here, let's turn the microphone up. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good. 35 seconds. Thank you to Simon times 7 or 8
Holy.
now. Well, he spelled out Merl. M with a super chat, E with a super So there was 5 right there.
Nice.
Major Lee and Mel WD40 for the great super chats tonight. Appreciate the love and support. What did you do? 9. 8. Don't forget to shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag. People know ugly swag. Hi, Memorial Gardens. How are you? Here we go. JBD as well. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. You make it a special night each and every night that you do, because we like bringing the weird stuff to you. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Hostellum. Hostellum is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. It's that time of the night where we head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. This happened a few months ago. My friend, who is 23 years old and a male, and I, who is 22 years old and a female, were hanging out one Sunday afternoon. Since it was a lovely sunny day and it was near the end of fall and the cold winter was fast approaching, we decided to go to a bar or a cafe. We would get some beers and relax at the park to soak up one of the last sunny days that we would get that year. We bought some beer and snacks at the store and decided to sit on a bench at the park nearest to the store because we didn't want to walk too terribly far. The area I live in is known for having many beautiful gardens, almost next to every block of buildings. The park was tiny to give you a general idea of our surroundings. A few benches were next to a child's playground, and a basketball court was a little bit down the road. Buildings surrounded the park for the most part. Most of the area was covered in grass, but the garden was built so underneath the swings and slides there were tiny white rocks, little, but they were rocks nonetheless. We were the only people there for easily 10 or 20 minutes. None of the other benches were occupied, no other kids were on the playground, it was just peace and quiet. Suddenly, we noticed this man running extremely fast in our direction. At first, we didn't think much of it. Maybe he was just running after his dog or something of the like, so we kept minding our business. Suddenly, he stopped abruptly as soon as he got to the playground. Now, I was a bit confused at this point, but very quickly my confusion turned into fear when I saw this man pick up a handful of rocks and throw them everywhere while making bizarre grunting noises and screaming. I looked over at my friend and told him that I wanted to leave immediately. This guy was twacked out of his mind. He said he wasn't sure if this was a good idea since the man had not noticed us yet, and if we just got up and left, he could see us and decide to attack us. We sat there for a few more minutes watching this man, hoping he would go and not notice us, but to our luck, Of course he noticed us. And as soon as he saw us, he ran exceptionally quickly, got very close to our faces, and started flailing his arms at us, still making these weird grunting noises. We just looked at each other, quickly grabbed our stuff and tried to get up. When the man noticed that he stood before me, blocking me from moving, he grunted in my face very loudly. His breath smelled like absolute crap. I was so scared, not knowing what to do. I am not much of a fighter, and neither is my friend. This man was indeed way more potent than us. I seriously considered just putting my cigarette out on his arm to distract him and free myself from the trap he had put me in. My friend got up and took a step toward him in an attempt to scare him off. Luckily, this worked and the man backed off a bit, just enough so I could get up and escape. As soon as I got up, we started running away as fast as we could, hoping we wouldn't be chased after. As we were running, I noticed rocks around us raining down because the man had started throwing them at us in handfuls. Luckily, none of us got hurt and we were able to get out of there unharmed. We had a few scratches and bruises, both of us were pretty shaken up after that, and we never knew exactly what his intentions were. However, we both concluded that it was pretty clear that he had some mental problems and was probably twacked out on some drugs.
Swamp Dweller always has an eclectic type of storytelling. Doesn't matter what the topic is, but damn is he good. You can find more, thousands of stories more for free on YouTube. Just go on over to Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Let's get to the UFO report.
That is an interplanetary flying space saucer. You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
Bring in little Timmy James to the show. We're glad to have you here, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And you?
Man, it's been a long time since we had a big day like today in the UFO world.
Yes. And I'm happy to say that all of these reports have nothing to do with drones. Yes.
None of them. Holy
None.
cow.
None.
Holy
Zero, not a zilch. No drones.
So there's three big stories today.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, Sky Canada finally released their preliminary report. We're going to get into that.
Yep.
Another whistleblower comes out.
Uh-huh.
Thank you to Ross Coulthart, who I had a little mini conversation of texting with him earlier tonight.
Nice.
And a person who threw UFOs under the bus and David Grush under the bus may no longer be holding his intelligence seat in the U.S. government. So
Ooh.
If we had a three-headed coin,
Mm-hmm.
I would say we could flip it and see which one you want to start with. So I'll just let you take it over.
Well, let's go with that one. Let's start with Ohio Republican Representative Mike Turner has been removed as the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee and will not serve in that powerful role in the new Congress. Speaker Mike Johnson told reporters he declined to reappoint Turner to the committee chairmanship, saying the committee needs a fresh start, downplaying the role that President-elect Donald Trump had anything to do in this decision. This is not a President Trump decision. This is a House decision, Johnson said. And this is no slight whatsoever to our outgoing chairman. He did a great job. In a statement, Turner said he was very proud to have served as chairman of the panel, which made him part of the Gang of Eight, the top leader in Congress, who are briefed on classified intelligent matters by the White House. Under my leadership, we restored integrity of the committee and returned its mission to its core focus of national security, he said in the statement. The threat from our adversaries is real and requires some serious deliberations. Turner, who has represented Ohio's 10th district since 2013, said he'll serve on the Armed Service Committee and Oversight Committee this Congress. In a statement, Representative Jim Himes, the ranking member of the committee, said Turner's removal as chairman makes our nation less secure and is a terrible portent for what's to come. He also said that Turner leaving the committee was a huge blow to the panel's work, calling the former chairman fair-minded and someone who had demonstrated a willingness to be independent. Turner had previously publicly criticized President-elect Trump, calling his storage of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago of great concern. Turner also is an ardent supporter of the Ukraine. So if anybody thinks that name rings a bell somewhere in their memory banks here, It probably does. So Mike Turner has drawn, this was from a year or so back, Mike Turner has drawn the consternation of some Republicans over his apparent reluctance to support legislation aimed at providing greater transparency on unidentified flying objects. Following congressional testimony by UFO whistleblower David Grush and two former United States Navy Representative Tim Burchett referenced the obstruction of a UFO-related amendment he had offered regarding the Federal Aviation Administration. Burchett suggested that the defense contractors are using campaign donations to influence members of Congress against UFO-related transparency efforts. He told assembled journalists, "I think it would be wise for all of you to start looking at some financial disclosures of some of those corporations. Some of the people who do the stonewalling in this town. I was told the intelligence community blocked the amendment, and then I was told that the House Intelligence Committee blocked it. And it depends on who you're talking to. I think that that's your job as reporters to find out what the hell is going on with this stuff. Because you all need to start asking tough questions, and you need to start looking at people's financial disclosures as well, because the groups that probably have control of this obviously are well heeled in this." Though he was not publicly naming names, it seems apparent that Burchett was referring to Turner. Head of the powerful House Intelligence Committee and a member of the Armed Services Committee, Turner represents Ohio's 10th Congressional District. That district is home to the Air Force's Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and numerous defense contractors. In contrast to Senator Marco Rubio, vice chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Turner has expressed skepticism about Grush's claims. Asked recently by Fox News about Grush, Turner responded, "Really? Every decade, there have been individuals who have said that the United States has such pieces of unidentified flying objects that are from outer space. There is no evidence of this." The Washington Examiner twice asked Turner's office whether he had opposed UFO-related amendments or discussed the issue with defense contractors. Turner's office did not respond. What a surprise. But while there's no evidence that Turner's stance on UFO issues comes at the behest of defense contractors, he has close relations with many of them. Financial disclosures showed during the 2022 campaign cycle, Turner received $12,900 from L3 Harris Technologies and $12,900 from Lockheed Martin. In 2020 election cycle, Lockheed Martin donated $64,350 to Turner, making him the firm's third highest house donee. Turner received $20,000 from L3 Harris in 2018, and he received $27,750 from BAE Systems and $13,700 from Lockheed, dedicated to appropriating congressional funds for investments in his district. So alongside Lockheed Martin, which manages some of the government's most classified defense research, another firm of interest in Turner's district is Radiance Technologies. Radiance Technologies holds contracts with the National Air and Space Intelligence Center and has employed former officials associated with government UFO research efforts, including Dr. Travis Taylor and Jay Stratton.
Well, this is a gentleman, and this is why it's important to the UFO world that he steps down or that he's kicked out of his position.
That's right.
This is a gentleman who literally called David Grush a lunatic, a drunk, somebody who had PTSD after his time in Afghanistan, and literally said the guy was not credible at all, shooting down all his information, even though he swore and testified under oath about what he saw in the congressional hearings. This is a guy who also led the charge to shoot down the Schumer's rounds bill in the defense budget to provide funding for UFOs. He basically single-handedly ripped it all apart and said, "Get this UFO crap out of here. We don't want it." Well, of course they don't want it.
No.
He's protecting British Aerospace, which is BAE. okay, and other defense companies that are working and have bases at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
In his congressional district.
Exactly. He and I believe last time I looked up Wright-Pat online, 50,000 plus people work there.
Yeah.
50,000 plus people have direct or indirect military or military contract jobs there. Go figure. Go figure. So we win.
Yeah.
We win.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's the other thing that I want to tie this to. And I'm not saying this because I have no skin in the game. You have no skin in the game, Tim. We're both Canadian.
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of people in Trump land who are very into UFOs.
It seems to be. I've noticed that a lot. Even his son's into it now, like with his major podcasting. It's like, holy cow.
Don Jr. has been into it for a while. And if you remember going back 4 years ago, right before he left office, he literally asked his father
that's
about
right.
Roswell.
Yeah.
Okay. So they were the only party in the American election to talk UAP/UFOs.
Right.
They have members who are interested. No, it's not Elon Musk or Vivek or anybody like that, but they have people within that want to know.
Yeah.
There's also talk that Luis Elizondo and David Grush may become UFO czars or UAP czars.
That's right.
To try and figure out the UFO story under this new administration. Now, like I said, I don't care about the politics of anything else in the U.S.
Nope.
I am focused strictly on UFOs here.
Yeah.
Getting rid of these old timers like Mike Turner, who've been elected for 20 plus years, okay, who have made money off it, like you just read in that story.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and have taken over. They're not going to get that done. If we want the UFO world to move on, we need Timberchip. You need Anna Paulina Luna. You need Nancy Mace and voices like that in this bipartisan topic in order to make it happen.
I agree.
So this also leads into Donald Trump Jr., who had Luis Elizondo and journalist Ross Coulthart from News Nation on today, because there's another big story about a brand new whistleblower who's come out. And this is an incredible story, people.
Yeah, it is. So, like Dave was saying, this show will be on Ross's show will be on Saturday at 8, just in case anybody wants to know. But this Air Force, he's an Air Force veteran named Jake Barber, and they filmed an episode, or they recorded an episode for Reality Check with Ross Coulthart. So Q&A session, and it's just a little bit of a blip, but I thought very interesting. So Ross starts out and he says, so tell me about the moment when you realized that you were involved in a retrieval program of non-human technology, alien tech. So Barber says, so it became very clear the first time our communication process and procedure was modified, and then just visually looking at the object on the ground, you could tell that it was extraordinary and anomalous. It was not human. How close did you get? Well, I was a helicopter pilot, and I operated with 150 foot to 200 foot long line. So I got within 150 feet of this object. Ross says, so what did you see? I saw an egg, a white egg. Was there any visible propulsion system on it? No, not what we would know. There's no engine. There was no thermal signature. I was operating at night when I finally came in to pick it up. So I'm working under night vision goggles at the time, and it was quite clear outside. I flipped them up and I flipped them back down and looked at it a couple of different ways. And Ross says, so how did you know what that egg-shaped object was? And he says right away, non-human in origin, Visually, after seeing all kinds of things in my past, it was clearly something that was ridiculous looking, as it's inconsistent with anything I'd ever seen before. I can also tell you that by the reaction by my team, we all knew we were dealing with something extraordinary. And Ross says, so at no stage were you ever subsequently told that the craft was of non-human origin? He finishes off by saying, I will tell you that during this process over the last couple of years, it's been confirmed to me by ranking members of the UAP task force that what we were working with that night was in fact NHI, and it was not a unique experience.
Now, this is a guy who served very well in the United States Air Force. I believe this incident happened back in 2014 or somewhere along there. So for people who didn't hear, he was a helicopter pilot in the United States Air Force. He's retired. He is also a former firefighter as well. So, I mean, this is a guy who does heroes work.
Right.
Let's just be a blunt and honest here. Yep. And so this gentleman, it is also prepped that News Nation has a video of this that they are going to release. Number one. Number two, they also have the idea that his crew members may come out with him over the next little bit. And from what I'm hearing, we're going to have a few more whistleblowers come out very, very soon. But I mean, there's a couple ways to look at this egg-shaped object.
Right.
Number one, that's very close to the Tic Tac. And he did say, which I don't think he mentioned, he did say that there was no view of any sort of propulsion system on this, number one. So if you want to look humorously, last time we had an egg crash, Mork from Ork showed up.
Oh, man. That was a while back.
And then Mirth.
That's right.
Jonathan Winters. Mirth.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And, you know, I say that in jest.
Yeah.
But there's a reality here. People have seen egg-shaped objects. I mean, going back to what people call the D Glock or the Nazi Bell.
Yes.
That was allegedly crashed in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. Is that a UFO? Is it human? We still don't really know.
Right.
The debunkers say, oh, that's human technology. There was a swastika on it and all this kind of horrible stuff.
Yes.
As the Germans planted a lot of weird technology back in the World War II days. But we still don't know what it was when it crashed. Never seen it again. It's somewhere, probably at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Hey, Mike Turner, would you like to let us know? Okay. But with this whistleblower, once again, we have an eyewitness, but this guy is close. It's not Ryan Graves, who saw something in the distance that looked like a cube on radar, but couldn't see it with his own eyes. It's not like a Tic Tac that was racing out of the way. This guy is hovering over this. Him and his crew are sending down a cable to pick it up because they are taking it somewhere. I was very interested because I watched this. Maybe they'll say it in the long-term interview on Saturday.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know where they took it.
I know. I did too. I was thinking the same thing. And it's interesting. And I think I mentioned this on Monday when I was on. I am surprised by this influx of whistleblowers that are coming out that aren't hiding behind, trust me, bro, this guy knows what he's talking about stuff. It's amazing to me, and I'm happy that it's happening. We'll see what the truth looks like and whatever. But yeah, I'm kind of, it's igniting some new sparks, and we're getting away from the drones for a while too, right? But
well, and that's exactly it. And if this guy's crew comes out, yes, you're going to have the Mick Wests of the world, and the Stephen Greenstreets of the world from the New York Post saying, once again, it's all trust me, bro information.
Yeah.
We have to get over that.
I think so too.
We have to. The skeptics and the non-believers have to get over that. They can't just go into their house closet and say, oh, by the way, here's the UFO egg I picked up.
Yeah.
Oh, I stole that, by the way. You know, like, come on.
Yeah.
How are they supposed to get evidence? You're not going to believe, the skeptics aren't going to believe this video that comes out.
Yeah.
Let's just hope it's not grainy, 1912 camera footage that they have on this thing.
True.
Let's hope it's good footage, but hey, we're going to see. When we come back, 16 pages of the Sky Canada Project will break down next.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
clear.
Clear.
Yeah, Ross did great work on that today.
Yeah.
Great work.
I was intrigued, really intrigued by just the snippet that he put out, or they put out on News Nation. I was like, okay. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this and seeing what this is all about.
I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's screwed about YouTube? We don't get News Nation here. We can get their channel,
right?
But we cannot get their live feed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we got to pay like $30 to.
I don't even know.
I don't know where we'd see it.
I don't even know.
Interesting.
I don't even know.
Don't know.
I don't doing no.
Yeah, I think have you seen any of the Don Jr. Podcasts?
I watched the one today on Rumble.
Yeah, seems to get Lou on quite a bit.
Well, there's a reason. There's a reason for that.
Yeah,
and I think that may involve a job soon.
Yeah, that's like we talked about Monday. That's the rumor, or last week, whatever it was.
And good on him if it does.
Yeah,
everybody deserves. If somebody offered me the UFO job in Canada, oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
Dave's moving to Ottawa,
right? David would be totally moving to Ottawa if that happened.
Yeah, no kidding. Closer to the maple syrup.
Yeah, but then you got to become a Senators fan, you know.
Oh,
yeah.
Or oh gosh, what choice do you have in Ontario? Yep, bring the California Golden Seals back. I'll root for them instead.
I actually like the Ottawa Senators. I was never a Daniel Alfredson fan.
No, definitely not.
You know what I'm craving right now?
No.
Twizzlers red licorice.
Oh, yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I love those.
I had a Big Turk the other day.
Yeah, not a big fan of those.
Oh, love the Big Turks.
Not a real chocolate guy. I like O. Henry's. That's about it.
Hey, there's little Grantavius right there.
What?
Yeah, little Granty Baker has entered the chat room. Please give us a mustache update if you don't mind. We'd love a mustache update.
Ooh, a Mexi melt?
I'm hungry right now. You know what I have in the fridge upstairs?
No.
Have you been? I know your wife has the best Mexi.
Oh, you went to the new place?
We went to the new place.
No, we haven't tried it.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Really?
But the amount of food you get,
yeah,
it's totally American size.
Is it shawarma or donair?
They call it the wrap. They call it Rolo.
Okay.
Yeah. And this thing is stuffed.
I love those though.
Yeah.
I really do.
And I have it in the fridge upstairs. I was going to eat it for dinner, but I was still stuffed from lunch at noon by the amount of French fries.
Oh, wow.
Beer battered French fries.
Oh, I love French
with
fries.
like a garlic dill dip.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I got to go check this out.
Yeah. And so now I'm in a conundrum because I have this incredible wrap sitting in my fridge. Do I eat it after the show?
Hell yeah.
Or do I wait? Tokeland, how are you, buddy? That's one thing I will say about the restaurants up here. They really do give American-sized portions.
No question.
Like you go to Red Rock.
I know.
You know, that's a hearty eat right there.
Mm-hmm. Most certainly is.
Mm-hmm. It's the way it should be.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. All right, 20 seconds left. Thank you to Philip, Major Lee, Mel WD40, and Simon with the rest of them. Really appreciate the love and support. If you're a big fan of Grantavius Maximus's mustache, head on over to Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. You can get your Grantavius t-shirt there as well with a nice mustache. Here we go. In like 7 seconds. I always forget about that.
That's all right.
Here we go, the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Always appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We're going to continue with the report here momentarily, but first, I want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives or hit us up on any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. There was UFO news as we bring in little Timmy James here.
Mm-hmm.
North of the border, where
Yes.
we are, we were important today.
Finally.
Finally, we were important.
A few months late, but that's okay. Gratitude, you wait for it.
What happened?
Well, the Sky Canada project finally released their preview to the full report that don't know when that's coming out yet, but 16-page preview. And if anybody's interested, you can go to the Sky Canada website, and it's like front and center. Download the PDF, whatever you want to do if you want to take a peruse. But yeah, it is 16 pages with charts and graphs. And I have to say, it's better than Arrow's charts and graphs. And I was like, okay, I can understand it. So yeah, so it did come out. And so the Sky Canada project, led by the Office of the Chief Science Advisor of Canada, was initiated to review current practices surrounding public reporting of UFOs in Canada. The project was spurred by increased public interest and recent developments in other countries, particularly the United States, where formal procedures for addressing UFO sightings are still in development. The study explores the current reporting landscape, identifies gaps, and provides recommendations to enhance transparency and scientific inquiry on UFO issues in Canada. So, painting a picture, Reader's Digest version, because otherwise we're going to be extending the show till tomorrow. So the methodology behind it, the Sky Canada team gathered information from federal departments and agencies, stakeholders, experts, and other organizations on how UFO observation reported by the public are handled in Canada. They also examined publicly available records, such as historical UFO data, as well as reports and investigations related to UFOs. They reviewed the approaches taken by a few other countries, mostly G7 nations and members of the Five Eyes. Canadians reported somewhere between 600 and 1,000 UFO sightings annually. According to the Survey Commission for Sky Canada project, 1 in 4 respondents say that they personally witnessed a UFO in their lifetime. However, only 10% reported their sightings and 40% of respondents would not know who to contact for reporting. Interestingly, a majority of respondents supported the establishment of a federal government service to gather UAP reports and make findings publicly available. So they identified a bunch of gaps in the system. So the Sky Canada project has highlighted several gaps and areas for potential improvement within respect to UFO reporting in Canada. They include there's a lack of cohesive and standardized system for reporting and following up. Absence of public engagement. So there is no official accessible platform for Canadians to report UAP sightings obtained potential explanations or reviews, reliable information about UAPs. Limited analysis of UAP reports. Reports of UAP sightings are not further analyzed unless they are deemed to pose a safety and security risk. Insufficient scientific involvement. Modest efforts to enhance science literacy, including around planetary sciences. And the management of UAP reporting in several countries was also examined, notably the United States, France, and Chile. So France, and I'm not going to pronounce it. I guess it's GPAN. So France is GAIPAN. Its mission is to collect, investigate, and archive UAP reports and make its findings available to the public. I actually went to each one of these countries' sites, and I got to tell you, France's site, if you get a chance to go have a look at it, they bring it up, it's got everything, out in the open, and you can actually go to UAP or UFO records, sightings, interactions. They break down what the interpretation of the incident was, photos, videos, witnesses, everything, and they actually update each one. And then if they can't identify it, they say, we don't know what that is. And if they can, they show proof of what it is. Super cool website. So sorry, kind of breaking away from that a bit. So check that out if you get a chance. So the recommendations from the report, improve coordination and analysis of UAP reports in Canada, promote public trust and mitigate disinformation, and enhance scientific rigor and science literature surrounding UFOs. Established, and yes, sorry about that. So reporting and data oversight, they want to establish a dedicated service. This service would collect testimonies, investigate cases, and post its analysis publicly. Excuse me. Enhance reporting capability in civil aviation. The other one was support public dialogue. So in communications, right? Promote intra-governmental collaborations and improve media relations. Promote application of up-to-date evidence to effectively address misinformation and disinformation. So also number 3 was research. Facilitate open access and open data. Support citizen science. Provide tools for data collection. Build on Canada's strength in astronomy and aerospace research and international collaboration. So they want to share with different countries. So Aero, NASA, GAIPAN, all the other places, get more involved in that. And cooperate in research and communication. Canada should actively engage with international partners for research, collaboration, and public. So in conclusion, a more structured approach to the management of UAP reporting in Canada would be beneficial on many grounds. It would enhance transparency and combat disinformation. It would also demonstrate Canada's commitment to scientific rigor and inquiry. This will not only improve public trust, but also position Canada alongside some of its allies as leaders in the global effort to find out more about the nature of UFOs. Adopting a science-based collaborative approach will help address public concern, demystify UFOs, and potentially reveal valuable insight into aerial phenomenon that are currently unexplained.
I thought it was a good opening report. I really did. I have no issue with the report whatsoever. I think that it's something that needed to be addressed. It needed to be looked at. It needed to be pushed forward. I thought Dr. Mona Niemer played the very unbiased card on everything.
Yeah.
Couple things I like about it. Number one, no slamming of eyewitnesses, whether they are civilian, commercial pilots,
that's right,
or military.
Yep.
They are accepting everything. Okay, I like that.
Me too.
And they don't care if it's your next door neighbor in Canada or you're a member of the military or the RCMP. They don't care about your title.
No.
They just want the sighting.
Yeah.
I thought the concern that we don't have an official UFO reporting center was good.
Mm-hmm.
I would stress concern on who's running that.
100%.
Because the one thing that they recommended was that the Canadian Space Agency take this over
Mm-hmm.
and do the reporting. And I disagree with that because Canada's Space Agency is extremely closely tied to NASA.
Yeah.
We know what NASA has done to this subject.
Yeah.
They have butchered it. They've treated people like they're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Bill Nelson, and your incredibly brilliant team of con artists when it comes to this subject.
True.
Okay. And I have no problem saying that.
No.
None whatsoever, because it's true.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay. Allegedly. But nonetheless, I thought there were a lot of good means that
Mhm.
that they want to get the military involved. They want the police involved, NAV Canada, Transport Canada. Because one of the problems that Dr. Mona Niemer was having
Mhm.
leading up to this report was that Canada's alphabet agents were not wanting to turn over the information.
That's right.
Okay. The other thing, too, is we learned a lot about the individuals and experts because there wasn't many names on there.
Mhm.
And in going over some of these names, we're going to have to now, just like everybody else, we're going to have to investigate these names.
Yes.
Okay. Who's Vincente Juan Ballester Olmos?
Mhm.
Who is Michel Bailey? Who is Jean Casteau? You know, we know who Sean Kirkpatrick is.
Of course.
So we know that there is some hidden mechanisms in this.
Yes, of course.
You know, Claude Lafleur. Do they call him Flower in his office? That's what I want to know. Robert Lamontagne.
Yeah.
I've heard his name.
So wait.
Marc Leduc. Heard his name.
Mhm.
Eric Mason. Heard his name. Kim Missick. Who's she?
Yeah.
Daniel Otis writes for CTV News. So
Exactly.
that's the media side of thing. Christian Page. Don't know who he is.
Heard the name.
Chris Rutkowski. He's been a guest on this show, just like Daniel Otis.
Mhm.
You know, for a long time, the DND, Department of National Defense, was sending reports directly to Chris.
Oh.
Okay. Joe Schwartz, Nicholas Temos.
Mhm.
Who's he? Don't know.
Nope.
Jan Vadney. I mean, this sounds like a 1970s Montreal Canadiens roster.
I know. It does, actually.
Aya Whiteley. But we're going to have to investigate these people.
Yeah.
Where do they work? Who do
Yep.
they work for? What companies are they working for? Are they planning on keeping silent? Because the one thing Canadians are good at is if we don't talk about it,
It's not happening.
it doesn't happen.
That's right.
And these people may say, yeah, my name's on there, but yeah, I'm not talking about it. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's our job to investigate, which is something we're going to get to.
100%.
Because I'm hearing that there are two scientists that are very closely tied to this report
Mhm.
and what's happening with the UFO reports and the UAP reports in the United States.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let me bring that up.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I will thank Ross Coulthart for that.
Yeah.
All right. And basically he's saying, and I've heard that this was happening a long time ago,
Okay.
but he kind of he says, I've spoken to two American scientists who worked with the Canadians, and that's all he knows at this point. And he's like, we have to crack open the Sky Canada story and find those scientists who are involved in the retrieval program with the Yanks.
Mm.
Okay, like we got to get this.
Yeah.
We're gonna push.
Yeah,
We are
100%.
going to push.
I'm in.
And so we're looking at it. And I will say this, and I'm not going to say who.
I know where you're going.
One of my sources is on this list.
Hmm. Yeah, you wouldn't tell me the name, but you told me about it this afternoon. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah, one of my sources is on this list. And to be absolutely blunt, I was jaw dropped
Mhm.
because when I read this list, I had no clue.
Yeah.
I had no clue
That source
that
never
this
contacted
person's
you.
name. And I've talked to this person today, and he's like, just keep my name out of it.
Yeah.
He goes, I know nothing. You know nothing. Just keep my name out of it. I'm like, you went public.
I was just going to
You
say,
went public.
keep my name out of it because
Yeah.
it's on this report.
But that's okay.
Exactly.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We're not giving him. I don't even know who he works for.
Yeah.
I don't, honestly. I've never asked.
No.
He hasn't given it up, and I've never asked.
Yeah.
I know kind of what this person does. I know they're legit.
Yeah.
Okay, and this paper proves it. Okay, so my theories were right on this person.
For sure. Well,
But-
like they say, less is more sometimes. I mean, when it comes to UFOs and all that sort of stuff, less is more when it comes to people that are giving you the information that are on the inside. And it's like, but on the outside, I think they take it too seriously. Less is more. Less. Oh, I can't say nothing. It's like, yeah, well, you got, like you said, you've got your name on the frickin' report.
Mhm.
I think what I was surprised with too is I was actually surprised with how many, and for lack of a better term, and agencies and stuff were actually
Yes.
participated
Well,
in this.
let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
Canadian Coast Guard, Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission,
Mhm.
Canadian Space Agency. Well, we knew the Safety Commission would be on it because that's who MP Larry Maguire
Yeah.
had originally attacked on this.
Mhm.
Canadian Space Agency, for obvious
Yeah.
reasons. Department of National Defense, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Defense Research and Development Canada, we knew they were into it. We didn't know Gaipan in France was involved.
No.
Library and Archives Canada, we got that. That's
Yeah.
where a lot of Wilbur Smith's stuff was.
Right.
Meteorological Services of Canada,
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
MUFON Canada, I'm proud to see them on there.
Yeah.
Okay, those are good people there.
Yeah.
National Research Council of Canada, that makes sense.
Yeah.
NAV Canada,
Yeah.
which would be like the equivalent of the FAA
Yes.
in the US.
Yes.
They're involved. Ontario Provincial Police,
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
The RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, we understand that. Sûreté du Québec,
Uh-huh.
or is it Sûreté?
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 I think so.
Sûreté du Québec. You notice that when we speak French, we always go with the French accent.
Yeah, I know.
It's
like-
like that in school. Like
Yeah.
you just don't say Sûreté du Québec. It's Sûreté du Québec. Right? And Transport Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
All of those organizations make sense.
Yeah, of course they do.
You know, I mean, I don't think they could have left any more on there. So I think it's great. The conclusion, a more structured approach to the management of UAP reporting in Canada would be beneficial. And with the idea that they involved MUFON Canada
Yes.
on this, I would really, really like to see them move these reports to MUFON Canada.
Yeah.
The problem that MUFON Canada has is they've maybe got 20 investigators
Yeah.
across the country. They would have to literally quintuple their investigators in order to do this.
For sure.
And they don't have the budget that MUFON USA has.
Right.
They don't have it. So I know they work together, and it's a real weird relationship because
Oh,
MUFON
okay.
and MUFON Canada, they're two separate entities, but MUFON Canada falls under MUFON,
Right. Okay.
but they get no funding.
Hmm.
So they got to do everything themselves.
Okay.
And so it's kind of interesting. Let's do a couple of these questions here.
Yeah.
Chart 1, overall, how concerned, if at all, would you say you are with UAPs observed over Canadian territory? Very concerned, somewhat concerned, not very concerned, not at all concerned, don't know, don't, or no response.
For me, not concerned, but very interested. Like they don't freak me out. If that's like the
Well, you got to choose one, man.
all right. No. Okay. So I'm not concerned. I'm interested, but not concerned.
All right. You know, this is the one study that I've wanted to do in my lifetime.
Right.
And of course, I don't get the phone call for this.
Well, let's pretend. Hello, is this Dave?
You know, half the people were in
Mhm.
Toronto that got this phone call.
Oh, of course it was.
Right.
That's center of the
Call
universe.
Dave here. Call Dave. How strongly do you agree or disagree with the statement UAPs represent an issue for flight safety in Canada? Strongly agree, somewhat agree, neither agree or disagree, somewhat disagree, strongly disagree, don't know, don't care.
not.
I'm the same way with
Yeah.
you on that one. 15% don't know or no response. Strongly disagree was 11%. The highest was somewhat agree that it could be a flight safety issue. 29%.
Yeah.
Let's choose another one here because we are running out of time.
All right.
What do you think is behind or the source of UAPs? Don't know, no response. Aliens, extraterrestrial life, foreign government or spies, natural phenomena, weather, celestial objects, drones, satellites, aircraft, weather balloons, government, federal government, military, other, or nothing.
Well, I'm going to stick with what I like. And obviously, aliens, aliens, extraterrestrials.
Okay, that was second at 10%.
What?
Military was 3%. So out of these 9 options, military was third last.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you'll be surprised by this.
Okay.
So from last to first, because we're running out of time.
Yep.
Nothing was 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Other, whatever other is, was 5%.
Okay.
Military was 3%. Government, federal, or federal government, provincial or federal government was 3%.
Mm-hmm.
Drones, satellites, etc., 4%.
Oh.
Natural phenomena, celestial objects, weather, 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Foreign governments or spies, 6%. Aliens or extraterrestrial life, 10%. And 71% was don't know or no response.
Holy.
I love it.
Yep.
Love it. Canadians opening up their eyes to this.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? We're going to try and get this on our website and make that happen so everybody can have a look at it.
For sure.
And good job tonight, Tim. That was a heavy night of UFO news, man.
It was awesome.
It really was. As we get ready to say goodnight to little Timmy Seymour. That means we say hello. This is Ron Bumblebee. Rock in the background. Little brother is watching. Spaced Out Radio. Rocking us in and out of every single show. Get those horns up to the guitar. God himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone for the chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, Telegram, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, Space Travels Club, or on X, hashtag Space Out Radio.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyright by Space Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us. Because together, my friends,
we're watching.
we own the night. We need you to fall. We need you to take us home. Yes, the food chain has done for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them. Good night, everybody. Good stuff.
Yeah.
You nailed that report, dude.
Thank you.
You were struggling there a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
You know, then you use your Ben Johnson steroids from 1988 to get right back in there.
Yeah. I love it when you're in the middle of something and then all of a sudden your throat starts. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Don't start.
Me.
Yep. Don't start coming.
24. And
yeah, it's funny because I'm not trying to be one-sided on this, but comparing just what I saw or what we've seen today with that Sky Canada report, and compared to what we see or I've seen, speaking what I've seen come out of the States, boy, oh boy, they're night and day. I mean, they're both, I guess, trying to follow the same paths, but I don't know. It seems this one was laid out much nicer, and it really kind of, there's no gray areas in it. It's like, this is what our intent is. This is what we plan on doing. We'll see. I mean, it's kind of cool that for us, that for Canada, that finally they, somebody jumped on board and said, yeah, it's time to start figuring this stuff out. Hopefully it's not a honeymoon phase, and then it turns out to be like whatever, a denial show.
Almost done.
Yeah, well, whatever. No, that French UFO website.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're bang on with that.
You're bang on with it.
They're bang on.
You're bang on.
We're all bang on with
You're
it.
bang on. You're bang on.
We're all bang on. Yeah, no, I was
weird. You almost sounded like El Phantasmo there for a second.
No, shut up.
That scared me there for a second.
No, I wasn't. Sorry, didn't mean to freak anybody out. Yeah, no, I was quite surprised. I actually kind of got lost in it at lunch. It's like, whoa, holy cow.
Holy cow.
Holy mackerel, zowie.
What should we make for a Merle shirt?
The little mermaid.
That was good.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
I came up with that one myself.
Yeah, and it's so apparent and obvious to do that completely missed it. I was like, what are you gonna call him, Mickey Merle? Or I'm thinking about.
I went with Disney movies.
Movies. I looked up characters.
Disney cartoon movies. I went with. So,
yeah.
God, I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm not going to have anybody from head office up tomorrow. Gosh, can't get anything done for UFO reports and stuff.
Oh, yeah. February 5th and 6th, I have head office people coming out.
Lucky.
Oh, yeah. I'm so happy.
I mean, the guy that came up was super cool. What a great guy. But
oh, not in my case.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, leave me alone. You're just too high energy. I actually closed my office door when I got in this morning. Is Tim in? Door's closed. Having a coffee. No,
he's not.
No.
I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
No. Hey, Tim, do you mind if I show you something? Oh, no, please show me. All this paperwork on my desk doesn't need to be done. Yeah, please. Come on in.
You have a lot of paperwork for just watching somebody pump a gas tank.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not working at a 7-Eleven, dude. Where's Mothman? Help me out here, man. Him and I both work in the same thing. He drives the exploding things on wheels.
Yep. That's why he's got the safety goat.
Right?
So in case of fire, that thing, he just wraps it around himself.
Yeah.
And he's safe.
Well, it's like I had to do orientation. When we get people on site, it's whatever. You got to give them an orientation where everything is. This is where your muster station and stuff is. And these guys are just repairing a fence, a gate on the fence, right? And I finally said to him after going through everything, I was like, look, if crap goes sideways, I don't expect you guys to be running to a muster point. If you're jumping in your trucks, just hit the horn about 7 times as you're flying out the yard. We know that you're gone, right? But yeah, it's just like
your place could explode.
It'd take half of this town out if it exploded. Each one of our tanks, we got 6, and each one has at half capacity. They're about 75,000 liters each at half. So
that's going to start a fire.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
I'm
like,
just going to tell you right now, Timber Mart will not exist.
oh, hell no. That's why our muster station's down at Tasco. We're down the road, man. Yeah.
My goodness. How many tanks do you have to fill up the carbon tax?
Right? What's the Mothman say? No, we're definitely not your average gas guys.
Oh, you guys are just a bunch of gas jockeys.
Yeah,
That's what you are.
that's right.
That's right, man. That's right. That's what you are.
Yeah.
Don't you know that you're a gas jockey star?
Don't you know? I love that band.
That's a good tune.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Joe Monk in the house. I never saw him. Oh, because
Oob.
It's because I was given a
Yeah.
report.
You know the funny part? You know how you and I wave?
Yeah.
Guaranteed when I say oob to Joe, he says oob back.
Yeah.
He doesn't just type it. He actually says oob back. Guaranteed.
Yep.
Guaran-frickin-teed. Don't you know that Tim's a gas jockey star?
Don't you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're tired.
Mm-hmm. Joe says that's the second time you've mentioned a mustard station. What about the ketchup?
But Joe will be here all night. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Just don't knock her over.
I was hoping I won the lottery. I didn't.
Yeah,
No.
I never checked.
I know what I would do.
Yeah, so do I. I get shittered.
Dave is going to buy a bunch of acreage.
Mm-hmm.
And I want a couple of them Scottish real hairy cows.
Are you serious?
I do.
Okay, stop it.
Why?
Because I'm so sick of you.
I do.
I think Mrs. SOR and Mrs. James. I get. You see what Mrs. SOR sent me? It's like, oh my God, more fuzzy cows.
Yeah.
Or cat videos.
Oh, yeah. She started on the cat video with me the other day. I just said no.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm good. Very good.
Exactly.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you. It's quite the hack you got going on.
I know.
That's that Canadian winter cough coming in.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's not the one where you're sick.
No, it's just that dry freaking.
Yeah. Three Sides True Crime. How you doing? Welcome to SOR Chat. Don't forget to tip your waitress. That's the way we roll.
Yeah.
Where's the start of this one? Oh, right there. There's the start. It's amazing how you can pick up the fluctuation of where the start and finish are. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I want to dig into those names for sure. I want to find out who's who in the zoo there.
I will hopefully have that tomorrow. As my day will start off nice and stressful tomorrow.
Excellent. It's always a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. I want Clydesdales.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even want to team them up. I just want them roaming in my property just so that way I can say, look what I have. Because they're like $30,000 a piece, those
They're
horses.
huge, man.
Yeah.
Buy a donkey.
100%. A couple of them. But I'd probably go to like one of those horse auctions, you know, where you got a choice. You can buy them so they like live.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, bring them and let them kind of retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, for God's sakes. Okay. No, let's just cut that. That just looks dangerous. Yeah. So I'd probably go there, see if they have any Clydesdales, like, or any of those big horses, the Percherons or the Belgians, or
yeah, I really like Clydesdales.
Yeah. Actually, you know what'd be cool is if you did do that, get a Clydesdale team with like an SOR buggy.
Oh,
yeah.
Or a winter sled.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yep, for sure.
An SOR buggy. Then you got to go in parades though, and I don't do parades.
Yeah, but if you're not standing on the side of the road, if you're just in the back of it,
No, either way, then you got to wave at people.
you don't really.
You do though.
You
And
just
then
throw candy out of it.
No, no, because
whip
when
shit
I-
at people.
Dude, when I throw candy at kids,
Yeah.
it's gonna hurt. Okay, it's gonna
Wow.
hurt. I'm just being honest. Okay, it's gonna hurt.
Well, so how long have you been feeling this way, Dave?
Hold on, I gotta just check here. Alright, that's good. How long have I been feeling this? I just hate parades.
Yeah.
I hate parades with a passion.
Yeah.
Spaced out.
That's the one right there.
Well, we did the Christmas parade this year.
Yeah, terrible.
I know. And I'm on the one side of the road walking up, and so we brought one of the guy's kids, and I was like, okay, grab these bags of candies and just start handing them out, right? Well, I grabbed a bag, and it's packed. The Christmas parade up here is packed. Want to go? It's like,
Oh yeah,
holy
they got
crap.
like 3,000 people.
I
out to
know.
it.
And my buddy that works, he looks at me and he goes, hey, he says, before we start this shit, he goes, one thing I learned. I was like, oh, you been in these parades? And he was like, yeah, I was a firefighter down on Lower Mainland. I was like, oh, okay. He goes, don't look anybody in the eye. He says, just go by and like glance. Hey, how you doing? He says, because if you stop and look at everybody, he feels like you got to give him everything. Just go up the line and, hand out, hey, here you go, and keep walking. He says, because every kid will look at you like, he didn't give me any candy.
That's right, because you didn't finish your homework before this, you little bastard.
That's right. That's it.
Nope, can't stand parades. They drive me nuts. Used to be a big parade guy.
And then what happened?
Semi trucks. There was no more floats.
Oh.
It was all semi trucks and weirdos waving at you while they're playing Metamaliki Baka.
Oh yeah.
Right? Don't like that. Drives me nuts.
Yeah, I thought you had a bad experience with a clown or something.
No, I hate clowns.
I'm not a big fan of
Hate
clowns.
clowns. Cannot stand clowns.
No.
Clowns rank up there with like snakes and sharks for me.
Oh,
But on the flip side, I would attack a clown. Okay.
No doubt.
I would attack that fucker and I'd grab that big shoe of his and I'd just beat the piss out of him with it.
Well, you see those videos of those guys that are dressing up at like horror clowns and they're walking out onto subway platforms and stuff late at night, right?
There's a couple of them that got killed.
Damn straight.
Yeah, there was one in town that tried pulling that. And apparently he almost got run over and the police finally grabbed a hold of him and said, are you being an idiot right now?
Oh,
Right.
man. I mean, I would not freak out.
That happened when It came out.
Right.
And people were trying to do the whole Pennywise thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but these idiots that are doing that, like if I was sitting there on a train platform or whatever the case may be in the middle of the night and some dude in a clown outfit walked out like that, I don't know, man. I think I'd probably go up there and just tear that.
You have to.
You
have to.
I couldn't. When you're going, oh my God.
Because that level of dumb on what they're trying to do to you, you have to beat them for it.
Yeah. It'd be that shake the gloves off and rip the helmet off.
Look, there's good violence and there's bad violence.
Yeah.
Nailing one of those clowns for being an idiot.
That's exceptionally good.
That's exceptionally good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad that is over with because literally I probably, if I saw one walking on the highway towards me, yeah.
Yep.
That person would likely lose a leg.
Yeah.
At minimum.
At minimum, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that stuff's just stupid. But yeah, clowns. When you go to my mom's place, when I'd go to my mom's place before she ended up in the hospital, her and my stepfather collected clown masks, and downstairs in his office, all clown masks. Go up the stairs to the dining room and living room area, clowns. In the front room on the curio cabinets, a clown, not masked, but little clowns with balloons and stuff. Paintings of clowns.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, seriously?
That's just creepy.
Yeah.
Hey, Boondock, how you doing?
You
No,
guys,
I'm a fan of Mardi Gras. I'm just saying
yeah.
the only problem is I end up with a lot of beads around my neck.
Well, you gotta quit flashing, man.
Whatever works.
That's a different parade, though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've never been to Mardi Gras. I would like to experience it without getting murdered there.
Yeah.
My
buddy was on Cops.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. Your buddy got busted on Cops.
Yeah, and he's pounding the hell out of these two cops. He gets slammed into a corner. Richard, he's passed away now. Richard Morris. I was like,
what's your claim to fame? I was on Cops at Mardi Gras.
Yeah. I was like, I remember watching it, and this was 20 years after we graduated or whatever. I'm like, what? And I hear the lady yelling, Richard. I'm watching. I was like, I know that dude. So then about, I guess, 5-6 years later, we're sitting down at a pub in Vancouver, and it was kind of like an old high school reunion thing, which I hate. So I was in there.
I hate reunions too.
And Richard comes in, and I was like, hey, dude, I saw you on Cops. He goes, everybody's seen me on Cops. I said, so it was you. He was like, yep. I was like, holy crap. He says, they grabbed the wrong guy. I was like, oh, is that what that was about? He says, I thought I was getting jumped.
I ever tell you I wasn't even invited to my own family reunion?
Your family reunion? You know what you say to that.
So, true story.
No way.
I got to tell you this.
Okay, yeah.
This is a funny story. So, the day I moved up here, okay, my parents come up, and my mom, God bless her soul, I miss you, Mom. But my mom says, we'll see you next week. I said, are you guys coming up?
Yeah.
She goes, no, at the family reunion. I said, what family reunion? She's like, didn't Auntie Brenda call you? My mom's sister. I'm like, no.
You weren't supposed to tell him.
And then she goes, she tries the famous mom cover up. I think all moms do this. Oh, that's right. I was supposed to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
And I apologized. I forgot. And I looked at her and said, Mom, you weren't supposed to tell me. Yes, I was. I'm sorry, but I said, Mom, did Auntie Brenda call my sisters, each of my sisters? She goes, yeah. I said, Auntie Brenda did not call me. So therefore, I'm not invited to the family reunion. And now that I live here, I can't have my first full weekend on my brand new job to say I'm not going to be here because of a family reunion. I said, so no, unfortunately, I will not be attending. Right. And I have so they go and they do all the family photos and all this.
Oh, wow.
I'm not there, that's
little cardboard cutout.
I don't care.
Exactly.
I don't care. But it was weird because like during my mom's funeral, the funeral week, and we're having to do all the family stuff.
Yeah.
It was weird watching my mom's side of the family because I've always loved them all.
Sure.
I've always respected them all. But for some reason, you know when you just know that you're the black sheep?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, actually. Yeah.
And like they would, outside of small talk, how you doing? How do you like living in the Caribou?
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Mark.
Like my sister or my cousin, her husband's a fighter pilot.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Trying to get him to talk to me without a sneer.
Really?
Yeah. And I had a lot in common with him.
What did you do? Like pee on somebody's kittens or something?
I have no idea what I ever did.
But then again, after I know where you're coming from, and then after a while, it's like, who gives a?
My sister's being invited. Well, let's go for dinner. Why don't you come up and stay at the ranch for a weekend?
Yeah.
Me, can you pass the butter?
Yep. Oh no, I get it.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've come to terms with that because was down that road with a lot of stuff, and it's just like
my dad was, after my mom passed away, my dad was really stressing about it.
Of course,
because I have a really religious aunt and uncle. Okay, and they are extremely wealthy.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Extremely wealthy, and they helped all of my mom's brothers and sisters except for my mom and dad.
Wow.
Yeah, because they didn't like my dad.
Your dad's so cool.
Yeah, well, he used to be an asshole.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
And
ain't now.
And long story short, they helped everybody. So that bothered my dad.
Of course.
Okay, that they never, like my mom's sister, for instance, they paid off her mortgage. They helped her buy a business. My mom's brother, they helped him start a successful business in Winnipeg.
Holy
that
cow.
He sold for millions. My mom's other brother, they literally retired him, said, hey, move on up here. We'll take care of everything that you need.
Damn.
His health, but my mom, not. Wow. And my dad said to me, it's kind of sad because my dad said to me that, and I never knew this about my mom, that she used to cry quite a bit because she didn't understand why her side of the family was always seeming so against her. And I'm like, well, Mom, Dad's an asshole, right? I get that.
Oh, okay.
but so I end up, so my dad's, after Mom passed away, and he's bothered by this,
yeah, of course,
and all of this, and I said, Dad, you know what the greatest thing that's happened to you here? I said, you never have to talk to them again.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to do any more family reunions. You don't have to say, well, I better go there for my mom and whatever. You don't need to do any of that. You owe them nothing.
Perfect.
I said, look at me. I said, at least you were invited to the family reunion.
And you're a jerk.
Right? I said, at least you were invited. I didn't even get an invite. Right? Oh, yeah.
Oh, love it.
So.
That sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you do, man?
Nothing.
You cannot do anything about it.
No.
So, it's kind of like every family has their bullshit.
Yeah, of course.
So I just look at it and I'm like,
build a bridge.
I don't need to do it. I don't need to do it.
No.
Not
at all. Well, I'd waste energy, right?
Yeah. It's like I don't hang out with my sisters.
No.
And yet Mrs. SOR's family, I cannot handle it.
No, I don't.
I cannot handle how close they are. They're one of them close families where they like spending time with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get my fill.
Get it.
No, me either. Our family, we get our fill, and we're.
Dave, what was the nickname of your brother-in-law? Oh, what did I call him? Something Dink.
Google it. No,
I made up a name for him and I forget now. I hated my brother-in-law's name. Hated him. Still do. I didn't go. Part of the reason why I didn't go to my one nephew's wedding is I knew I didn't. If I skipped this, because I had two nephews. One got married, and of course, the Dink was there. Right. And hi, Deborah Rooney. And I figured, what? If I don't go to my second nephew's wedding this year, I said I don't need to see him.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy was such an asshole.
Dink squeak.
The guy was such an asshole.
That
when we played slow pitch together, I was chasing a fly ball. Okay. And I was a pretty good fielder. Like, we had a really good team. And I'm chasing a fly ball and I'm playing right center field.
Okay.
And as I'm running for that ball, I didn't realize that a sprinkler head had blown that night and caused everything to be mud.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I ran into a hole and I hyperextended my knee and tore my ACL, MCL.
Perfect.
And my my cartilage.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm reeling on the ground in pain, now remember, this guy and I were best friends. I set him up with his Budweiser Bud Girl wife.
Oh,
who is a friend of mine, a personal friend of mine.
Right.
Okay. And he stood over top of me as a paramedic and said, I'm not fucking helping you. Get up and get off the ground by yourself.
What?
Yeah. True story.
Holy crap.
And my buddy who I ran, because it was my ball team.
Yeah.
And my buddy who I ran the ball team with nearly knocked him out.
Yeah, no shit.
Right there in the middle of the field.
Wow, what a dink.
Oh, yeah. Super dink.
Super dink.
Yeah. And yeah, being a paramedic in Canada, when somebody's hurt, whether you're on duty or off, that's illegal.
It's exactly right.
It's very illegal.
Jeez.
And so, long story short, there was a bunch more shit that happened. And I just like, I don't need it.
No.
You know what? I don't need it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't hate a lot of people in this world.
No, I get it.
But him, he's number one on my list.
Mm-hmm.
And my former sports director in Vancouver is number 2. Rary Gable.
Rary Gable.
Rary.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's number 2. But, yeah, man, I could not.
That's brutal.
Yeah. So I looked at it, weighed the options.
Yeah.
And there was so much more to that situation. You know, I haven't talked to my sister since 2 months prior to my nephew's wedding.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I did get a text on Christmas wishing me a Merry Christmas. So I responded with the you too.
Yeah. Yeah.
TY, you too.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep. As little as possible.
Yeah.
Acknowledged. Thank you. Moving on.
So I love being the black sheep.
Yeah. I get it.
It does not bother me whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
It's fun. All right. Tomorrow night on the show, Dan Warren is going to join us from 5 Pillars of Emphasis, or 5th Pillar of Emphasis on TikTok. He's literally got about, 700,000 subscribers.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
What are you doing?
He's going to join us tomorrow night to talk about UFOs and all the latest news and everything like that. It's going to be a fantastic show. And thank you tonight to Simon with almost 10 fingers full.
Nice.
Yeah. And Philip and Major Lee and Mel WD40 for the love and support tonight. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, ring that bell, because we are here 7 days a week for you. And we'll see you all tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, right here on the Mighty SOR. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, it was Super Dink. But I don't think it was Super Dink. Maybe it was.
Engelbert Super Dink?
Was it Super Dink? Yeah. Might have been. Sounds good. Let's go with it.
All right.
See you tomorrow night, guys.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.